What's up, chat? Hey, what's up, chat? How you guys doing? What's going on? Y'all beautiful faces. With y'all beautiful faces, what's up? What's up, chat? What's up? Yo, what's up, Caleb? What's up, babe? Shiori, what's going on? Blues, what's up? What's going on? Thank you guys for being here. First nerds. Blues, what exactly is Smite? Smite is a third-person MOBA. So if you've ever heard of League of Legends, Blues, Smite is like League of Legends, but it's third person. You like the music, Blues? Let's go. Are you gonna play Smite? Yeah, I probably will. Like a little later. Yeah, you've heard of it, Blues? Yeah, so Smite is basically like third-person League of Legends. In my opinion, it's better. It's way better. I've played League of Legends before, and in my opinion, Smite's way better. Is it only a PC game? No, Smite is across all platforms. It's cross-play across everything: PS4, Xbox, Switch, and PC. It's free to play. It's amazing, dude. It's crazy. So we're gonna watch their mid-season patch note show is about to come up. Starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. Their mid-season patch note show is usually huge. There's a lot of good stuff. They usually make a lot of like crazy changes, buffs, nerfs, like etc. etc. Like it's always insane. So I wanted to stream it, man, because we actually got a pretty significant Smite following in the channel, dude. Like it's actually surprising. So Smite's one of my favorite games, like, of all time. So I was like, hey, why not stream it, dude? And we all hang out together and talk about it, dude. That'd be awesome. You know what I'm saying? Wore my Smite shirt and everything. Peep it, fam. Let's go. Let's go. I got a Bologna shirt, too, that's pretty sick that I got from DreamHack. All day Smite, nothing else? I don't know about that, dude. That's a lot of Smite, dude. That was like 3 years ago, me, Smite. Avatar, Last Airbender. Yeah. It should be starting soon. As soon as it starts, like, I'll swap over. Maybe some Rainbow Six later? Yeah, I'm definitely going to play Rainbow Six later. 100%. Chat, the streams are probably always going to almost be the same. Unless, like, it's, I don't know. Just some freakish stuff. I don't know. But it's almost always going to, like, for the time being, until something else changes, like, it'll always be Rainbow Six in the beginning while I'm still fresh and my reaction timing is really good. It'll be Rainbow Six in the beginning and then, something else afterwards. Playing Smite after the patch. What patch? This is just a patch no show. There's no patch today or anything like that. So... But yeah, I'll probably play Smite tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like usual. As always. Chat, what do you guys think of my new profile picture? My little avatar. What do you guys think? Y'all peep it? Sick, right? You like it? It's dope, right? Yo, Mr. Navy's a legend. Yeah, looking good. Yeah, sick, dude. All right. Avatar is neat. It's neat? What? What do you mean it's neat? Nah, I'm glad you like it. So I'm just so we know, chat, I'm gonna stream this patch note show and we're gonna talk about it, have a little watch party, do all that. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let me do this. Boom. Boom. All right. So we're going to do this, chat. We're going to do this watch party for the patch note show. Then I'm going to get off. All right. Eat, like, get my workout in, stuff like that. Hang out with the family. And I'll be back on my normal time. Okay. So 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So we'll stream this, hang out, talk about it, watch it. Then I'll get off. do my thing, do my stuff, and then come back at my normal time. Have you ever not worn a hat on stream? No. Yeah, Avatar. Yeah. It's going to be sick. Let me know if you guys can hear it okay. You have to go at 4? That's cool, bees. Yeah, Bob, the mid-season patch and all that, with the battle pass for Smite is going to be Avatar themed, and they're actually going to have Avatar themed skins for the different gods in the game. So it's a big deal. It's going to be awesome.
Hello and welcome to the mid-season update show.
Chat, can you guys hear okay?
To have you guys here today. It's going to be jam-packed. I hope you guys are ready. Got your snacks, got your drinks. Strap in because it's going to be a long one. We got tons of balance, a ton of awesome skins, including the Avatar Battle Pass, and a rework and a remodel. And here to break things down with me, I got AJ and Pond from Design. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm. You guys are looking great today, might I say. I knew I would be wearing a new shirt, but I did not know all of y'all would be wearing a new shirt. Apparently, the Tev team has a favorite FanForge item.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I had to actually venture out of the apartment to go get it, but it's been going good.
I ordered mine day one that they went online, and it got here just in time.
Yeah. You know, we had to get prepped and ready to go. And it's going to be a long show, so let's go ahead and get right to it, guys. We're going to kick it off with the bonus update that's going to be live next Tuesday, June 20th.
Okay.
Bonus balance.
There we go, chat.
Going to be up first.
What? Afro? Uh-oh, where's Navy? Where's Navy?
We're increasing the cooldown from 90 down to 70, and it's going to be 90 seconds at all ranks here.
Ooh.
Aphrodite's still putting up some pretty big numbers. This is a counterplay.
Up the volume a bit?
Change,
yeah.
Right? This item provides, or this ability provides, we're going to talk about a lot of items, but immunity and CC immunity, damage immunity and CC immunity for 2 people on a team. That's a really, really big fight swinging type of ultimate, and low cooldown, and especially a low cooldown
better
low cooldown build can make it really hard to find windows where you can actually make a play against Aphrodite. So something like this is going to help a lot of counterplay against her.
For sure. All right, next up, Cthulhu.
Yes.
Big boy is getting a little bit of a nerf here.
Nerf this nerd, chat.
Into Madness, his ultimate ability. We're going to be increasing the cooldown there from 100 seconds to 120. We're also removing some damage mitigation during the wind-up. And then Transfuse, the ultimate 3, we're going to be reducing the healing on that.
Wait.
Yeah, it was really fun watching his release. It seems like he's been driving some people
insane.
Some people thinking he's really, really strong. Some people think he's a little underwhelming.
He's nuts.
Yeah, we're on the edge of he's pretty strong. We're looking to deal with some frustration issues people are having.
Yeah, they nerfed Afro's ultimate.
Really big swing kind of play that you can make. We're gonna make this cooldown a bit more appropriate for that level of power and give a little more counterplay to where if you're trying to burst him, you can't just use this as an immediate effective immunity. And then Transfuse provides some healing and some extra utility, turning that back down. Just hits towards like that big key moment. Overall, he's doing really well, and we're excited to see how people keep playing with him.
For sure. All right, up next,
okay.
Heimdall. We're going to be seeing a nerf to Galahorn, decreasing the knockback strength on that ability.
Thank goodness, dude.
We're going to be increasing the base time it takes to teleport.
Nice.
Here I'm singing a similar tune as Aphrodite. These are big counterplay changes. Heimdall uses that knockback strength mostly to interrupt people that are diving on and gank him. And the Bifrost, that is a pretty big change actually. 0.3 seconds might look like a relatively small amount, but in the terms of combat inside of Smite, that's a relatively long time, and that is referring to specifically the time he has to stand inside of his own crystal before he teleports out.
Yes.
Increasing that, it's gonna. Both of these changes combined are gonna make Heimdall a little less safe to play. Really, he's got really strong damage and some control elements, which are kind of his features. He really is not supposed to have so much safety. So both of these nerfs are there to address that.
Nice.
Cool. All right, we got a nerf for a Norse Hunter. Now it's time for a Norse Mage. Hell, going to be seeing a nerf here. In
Hell, nerf?
Decay / Restoration. We're going to be decreasing the damage on that. It's going to count for both the light and the dark stance.
What?
And then we're also going to be decreasing the healing scaling on the light stance for this ability.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of people really pick up Hell and see that as this very valuable mage.
Well, you have zero clue what they're talking about, but you still like the game. Lol.
Team are really high, so we're
hey man, you gotta start somewhere.
The base damage on Decay and Restoration will kind of like limit her lane bullying ability, as well as the decreased scale on the healing will just affect her healing over the course of the whole game.
That's not too much.
These two adjustments are going to bring her down just the notch that we need to.
They might as well be speaking another language.
Right. It's just Norse land. We're just in Asgard, another Norse god, a guardian this time, Jormungand, the World Serpent. This is a general change. We're just going to be decreasing the basic attack damage on Jormungand.
Dang, look at all these nerfs, chat.
Especially with the Warrior's Blessing changes we've seen recently, that was mitigating a lot of Yorm's basic attack damage, which now he's doing more damage because of that. He was already pretty clearly in the meta. He had been dropping, I'd say, a little bit in pro play, but he was definitely still a contender. That Warrior's Blessing change pushed him back into the top slot, and here we are.
Is that the guy in the name was Tampon? Nah, it's
you know, we're gonna see a lot of solo lane changes later in today's show, so spoiler alert. Yeah. But we don't want Jormungandr to really be there.
Are you talking about Thor Beast?
Want to have
Thor?
a good time for experimentation with the new items and other gods that we're buffing today. So hopefully this makes it a nice open playing field for mid-season.
Chat, can you guys hear me okay? Even when they're talking and stuff?
Right along.
Am I good?
Nike. She came
no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't nerf Nike. No.
We're going to be decreasing the slow duration from 6 seconds at all ranges.
No.
Scale up from 4 seconds to 6 seconds.
Yeah, we saw especially Nike jungle really was the thing that like pushed Nike into the forefront.
No.
And then we saw some more flexible play from Nike outside of that. But the base damage on barrier formation was contributing a lot to clear and bowling capability.
What in the world?
Especially level 5, your ult, that 6-second duration slow was really the thing.
Nerf them all.
We're toning that back down to 4 seconds, giving players more opportunity to counterplay around it, but keeping the strength of our late game team fight.
It's fine. The nerf isn't that bad. The nerf isn't that bad.
And we're going to be seeing a nerf to lurking in the waters here.
What?
Decreasing the protections that he gains while channeling this.
Bro, low key, Sobek's ultimate is broken.
Top played gods in ranked conquest has been for most of the season so far.
Yo, there goes your Sobek carry, Shiori. Get out of here with that.
A couple patches ago, and now we're looking at another one here.
Yo, Obi, what's up, baby?
Lurking in the waters is an ability that does a lot of things, right? It can do pretty big damage if you make sure you complete that channel time. It also makes Sobek really, really hard.
All right, Domo, sounds good.
Sobek is already pretty good at escaping from dangerous situations. Sometimes, you know, missing that pluck can mean certain death for Sobek, but other times he gets out of things that you are just like, there is no reason that should have happened.
Yeah, rip Sobek. Yep.
Protection bonus a little bit. Make sure that he has those available punish windows. Again, you know, a similar theme as you've seen us addressing some of these other changes here today. We think that with these strong gods, regardless of where their win rate lies, a lot of times counterplay issues are what cause a lot of the frustration. So you see that we're here really focusing on that today.
All right, last up for bonus balance, we've got Yamoja. We're going to be making it
nerf.
Mending Waters, decreasing the shield, and then
let's go.
We're going to be decreasing the movement speed bonus.
Let's go. Yes. Yes. Nerf her into the ground.
I think we saw near, if not 100% pick ban for Yamoja, which is why she's kind of on this list still.
Thank goodness,
dude. The utility that she really brings to a team.
She's so annoying,
especially with her Omi system. It allows you to just spam heals and shielding on people, or to get them out of trouble, or to try and pick people with Riptide. We're just taking away some of the safety of the shielding as well as the utility of the Riptide.
Chad, I haven't seen any of you play Yamoja really.
Really kind of chase after Yamoja a bit more effectively.
Especially in our custom games. I don't think any of us have played Yamoja.
That wraps it up for bonus balance, guys.
Wait,
those changes
Soprano plays Yamoja.
Game for you guys next week, June 30th. We've also got a few awesome skins that we want to show off. The first one being Living Weapon Tier. This is going to be a part of
skins.
the Grim Omens event. The last chapter in that event. So
there we go,
if you guys
chat.
haven't bought into Grim Omens yet, tons of awesome content there. And this tier skin is really, really cool.
Let's look at.
I really like how this one turned out. This was a kind of a difficult one when we were first coming up with the idea, but the artist execution across the concept of modeling team. Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Yo, that's tier, guys.
Oh man, that hand is so creepy.
That hand is. That hand is gross, dude.
Oh my gosh.
That hand is
Yeah,
gross.
it's really a new take on a sort of mutant or maybe a little bit demonic type of theme.
Yeah, for sure. The more I look at it, like the more things I notice that are just insanely creepy. Like he's got an entire mouth just on his side underneath his arm, and it's just like, how did that even get there? And apparently, I heard from the animation team that this one has some sort of unique tongue animation that plays randomly. So
yes,
you guys are playing against this.
Scary jaws open up, and he has this like big lizard tongue that comes out, and it is like you'll see it if you go into the game and you go to the god selection screen to look at his model in the game. You'll definitely see it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's creepy. All right, next up for Grim Omens, the last skin in Chapter 4 is Mystical Manipulator Nox, and this one is really cool.
Ooh, that one's nice,
So another of our Mystic line, but with a twist. We did a bunch of the Mystic skins earlier. I think it was mostly last year. And this one we were looking at Nox, and we thought about really kind of approaching it almost more from the villain aspect, but within that theme.
Yeah, when writing the voice pack for this, we really saw like kind of like exploring like the idea that the mystic.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Like archers kind of come in and like ruin her plans all the time, and she's done with that.
Super cool. Yeah. So now you've got a full team of mystic archers, and now you got the villain to fight against.
That's pretty awesome, chat.
Super cool. All right, the last skin for the bonus update that we want to show off today is Galaxy Forger Vulcan. This is another one in our new recent take on the Galaxy theme, and these are some of my favorite.
Oh snap, dude!
Vulcan was a great choice for this theme. The way he constructs things, and he's got his turret there and his hammer. It's a really cool idea.
Oh, dude, this is a pretty sick Vulcan skin.
The, like black hole in the head. That's just cool. It's a really cool focal point. Oh, look at that hammer!
Cool too.
Yeah, that's kind of sick, dude.
It's like galactic, but it has that kind of like prism structure on it, so it's like a solid object. Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty dope,
really
chat.
Nice.
I
love how these have like you can see like the stars floating and all the textures.
Chat, I wonder what his turret looks like. You know, the turret that he puts out on the ground. I wonder what that looks like.
That is it for our bonus update. That'll be live for you guys next week on June 30th. Now we just want to take a little bit of time to talk to about some community news for you guys. The first thing that we want to talk about is you guys all see it. We're all rocking the For Fans by Fans merch that is newly available. All that stuff is available now. Tons of community created designs, shirts, hoodies, mouse pads, backpacks. Tons of awesome stuff that you guys can pick up. And I also want to give a short shout out to Zelgot, who actually won the competition. And if you guys haven't played a game yet, you can play a game and unlock this avatar.
I want that tier skin, but I don't know how to use them.
We got a shout out to our guy Rage and Cajun for designing this specific shirt that all three of us are wearing today.
Yeah. It's great.
But there's a lot of other really cool designs on there. This one's a little more comedic, but if you're looking for something more serious, we have a few from Rob Draws that are beautiful. There's some really cool stuff. There's some cute ones. There's some serious ones. We got a really good selection.
For sure. All right, last up for community news, I gotta plug the Maxnomic chair. I'm not Dulcin, so I'm gonna try my best here. But we've got
what's up, Joshua, baby?
Smite X Maxnomic chair, and we've got the code Smite Max that you guys can use for a discount. And I actually heard they're actually throwing in a free embroidery to put your gamer tag or in-game name here. So yeah, like I said, I'm not Dulcin, but here's a video for you guys to check out.
Oh no, dude, it's a Smite chair commercial. What's going on here? We're watching a Smite patch notes show together, Joshua.
Let the heavens rage!
Chat, should I get a Smite chair at some point? Would that be funny? Should I get a Smite chair, chat? What do you guys think? Maybe. Oh. I just noticed something, chat. I don't have my thing on, chat. Wait. Hold on, chat. Law? I don't have my thing on, chat. I took it off earlier. There we go. Whoops.
Chair is looking super clean. Hope you guys are comfy because we're getting ready to lock in and start talking
Yo,
about
Squad
the
X,
season
what's up,
update.
baby?
We're gonna start with Project Olympus, and
Sure.
the first thing that we want
Your
to
youngest
talk
daughter
about
said that chair is
is
sick.
mastery
Nice.
skins. Looks like Kronos,
If I get the Smite chair, that'd be epic. Yeah, Killboy, there is a tier skin.
Skins updated. And correct me if I'm wrong, AJ, but we're done.
I'm honestly afraid to say that myself because it's something that has been 3 or 4 years in the making, but I believe as of now we have updated all of the Gods Mastery skins to the newer, higher quality style, and it's just, I mean, it's been a massive task. It feels very good to have finally completed it.
I know, right? It's like the feeling you get when you finally check off that thing that's been on your to-do list for 3 years.
Yeah, for actual years. And
Yeah,
you know, they
that
look
tier
great
skin is
before,
actually
so,
pretty dope.
Looking forward to having all of the people who main those characters be able to finally bring themselves into Season 7 with the new Mastery skins.
Yeah, I think we saw the Reddit thread about Kumba like literally yesterday.
Wait, is the whole thing over?
Yeah,
No,
there was.
Nope.
He looks much
Alright,
better now.
Definitely. Speaking of looking much better, the God of War is going to be looking a whole lot better in
Wait.
the mid-season update.
Wait.
He's getting a visual update. We kind of hinted at it a
What?
couple shows ago.
Vulcan
but
skin's
the
more dope?
Ares visual update
Yeah.
is coming out in the mid-season update. His base model,
Yo!
Recolor, and Mastery skins are all
Chat!
getting an update, and that card art is so dope.
Yo, look
It
at
really is
Ares,
good.
dude. He got
The
a
model is
recolor. Look at
amazing.
this.
It's absolutely amazing. Are we gonna jump into game to look at it today?
Yo.
Yep, I believe we have turnaround videos for the base model
Yo.
here that
Oh,
we'll be able to show.
Yo, this is the
There we
mid-season
go.
update show for
He
Smite
looks-
King.
His
Yeah,
hands,
finally,
they're
like
normal.
the God of War.
Bruh.
And don't
Oh,
forget that
sword and shield
recolor.
is so dope.
Ares recolor with
Yes,
with
that is the
all
guy
black
you
armor
use,
is
King.
also one
Yep,
of the
that's the
coolest
guy you
recolors in the
used.
game. So when you see that one with the new model, it looks
Dude,
so good. The masteries,
sick.
the art team. Oh, I'm so stoked about this. You know I'm a big Ares player, and he looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, hard art for the recolor. I don't think we have the
Ooh.
models ready for the recolor and the mastery, but you'll be able to see them in game once we go online on
Ooh.
BTS, and they look so cool.
Chat,
And
that
the most
all
important thing
black
about this whole update is
Ares
to some of our
skin.
veteran players is that the
Oh.
classic skin will still be available
Oh,
in the
yeah.
game. If you want to still look like original retro Ares,
Ooh.
you will be able to acquire that similarly in the way that you did for the ISIS redo.
Cool. All right, we got one more topic for Project Olympus that we want to talk about, and it's bonus chests. It's been a long time. We've been hearing feedback from players like, I got all these chests that I'm sitting on that I can't open. So we're actually making some changes to how we handle bonus chests next update. We'll have a blog out later on this week that kind of goes into more detail. But the TLDR is that we're adding some extra items to those chests that you initially aren't able to roll right now, that you'll be able to roll and get rewards. And depending on the tier of the chest, you'll get different rewards. So it looks like for like things like the Divine and Awesome chest, you'll be able to roll those and get gems. And then things like the Champion,
Okay.
Godlike, and Hero chest, you'll be able to now roll those and get team boosters. You own everything in the
Nice.
chest.
Nice. That's
Long
great.
time community request there. So those chests that you just haven't been able to get anything out of because you acquired the content none of the ways, we're now going to give you straight up gems for those better chests, which is really nice. So, yeah, a lot more changes to the chests.
Let's
I'm gonna give
go.
a lot more detail when we release that blog later in the week.
Let's go, chat. That's awesome. That's a
Alright,
great quality
you
of life
guys
thing
ready
right
to
there.
Talk about balance.
Oh, here we go, chat.
For like the next hour and a half. Sure.
Yeah, we'll see
Let's
if we can
go.
get it done in a reasonable amount of time.
Let's go,
There's so
chat.
much stuff.
Let's go.
Alright,
Chat,
let's go
Rama
ahead and
buff.
kick it off. And for you
Another
guys
Rama buff,
watching at
chat.
home,
Let's go.
Patch notes are live on the site right now if you guys want to follow along. So let's go ahead and start. Let's talk about ranked Pon. What we got going on for ranked coming in mid-season?
Yeah, so ranked, we're doing this is the kind of mid-season update we have for ranked. The big things here are we're doing the kind of same style of variance reset and the reset for the top end players. We saw a lot of success with that over the course of this whole kind of like season so far. We're continuing to keep it going, as well as this is the first time this year that we're resetting the God leaderboard as well. So we stopped resetting the God leaderboard and allowed you to kind of build up your like, maybe you had like 5 gods you're really good with, you want to get them all to like diamond and show that off, you definitely could. But now we're resetting that, so now maybe there'll be another number 1 Kuzenbo main or another 1 Thanatos main. So you gotta actually play for those things. We have some more stuff in the works that we're trying to get out to you that we want to get out for mid-season, but we couldn't quite get there. So we'll have an update for that as soon as we can.
Okay.
Cool. All right, stay tuned for more updates on ranked. All right, next up, let's talk about Joust really quick. We're making some changes to the mode here, and it looks like we're going to be removing some protection scalings from fire minions, as well as decreasing their health scaling and their
Bro,
health scaling,
thank God, dude.
for the
Very
fire,
important to note that
both
this is
brutes
affect
and archers.
Thank God,
this will
dude.
affect Joust and Duel.
Chat,
So
chat.
we did some balance
Fire
on this
minions
throughout
in
the year. We've
Joust
been getting some
were
feedback
OP,
from especially some
dude.
dual players that these
They were
extra tanky
so
late game
hard to
fire
clear.
minions are kind of causing anticlimactic matches. So we're gonna be toning that down. Make sure you really have to rely on that God versus God combat to end the game.
Holy.
Cool. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the update. Let's talk about Conquest, guys. Give me the general idea.
Yeah,
of
still
what's
no Titan
happening
buff,
with
which is
Conquest
unfortunate.
in mid-season.
Yeah, this is probably better for
Ponpon-
AJ. No, I'll get it.
We were
Okay.
both trying to throw to each other. Ponpon, you're my jungler. But this isn't for the.
Yes.
This isn't just for the jungle. It is a jungle update, but obviously in Smite the jungle affects everyone.
Yes. So the big things that we're having here is the jungle is now going to be a much more living entity of the map. All the jungle camps as a whole are getting these new kind of treatments. Some of them will actually defend their own home territory. Some will be a bit more defensive. Each will have different abilities that you kind of have to play around. And if you don't play around them, you're going to be taking more damage. And that's all kind of culminating with as well as some changes to the pacing of the jungle, how difficult they are to kill for both players who aren't junglers and junglers. So there's a lot to go over here. But we really did want to kind of overhaul the jungle, make it feel more living, make it feel like a bit more threatening, and something that with more investment that everyone could feel good about.
Oh snap!
Well said.
Sure. And obviously these are major changes here, but we're also.
LOL, me and Dox's wife having no clue what they're talking about, but still watches anyway, and that's why I love you guys.
We are comfortable
Check your
to
phone.
say today that in Season 8 there will be a new Conquest map. Not going to say anything more than that. We just want people to know that Conquest is still very important to us as a development team, and this current map we think has been very successful. We've learned a lot of things from it, and we've had a lot of fun with it. But in Season 8, we will be bringing a new Conquest map to Smite.
Exciting news.
Oh,
I cannot wait. All right,
new
let's
Conquest
start
map
breaking
next
things
year,
down.
boys.
Let's start with the Jungle Shrine. We're making some changes here.
Oh, snap.
Now it's in mid-season. It's only going to require a single attack
That's gonna be crazy.
to claim the full bounty, and then we're also increasing the gold per stack from 5
It's
to 10.
a new map for
Double it.
Season 8,
Double it, Pom Pom.
so that'll be next year.
We got some feedback that the Jungle Shrine and optimizing the Jungle Shrine in particular didn't feel like a meaningful decision to make in the match. Sure, you could optimize it, but the reward wasn't quite there. The reward is much more there, as well as it now takes a single attack to fully claim, so no more like having to like actually
Feels
sit
so
there
good.
and wail on it for a while. You can just kind of like as you're going to your next camp, swing at it and get it. But the most important thing is
Buff
being
the fire giant. Lol.
Cool. All right,
Shrine
and
efficiency.
before we hop into the jungle, let's talk about lane minions really quick. We're making
They
some
haven't mentioned
adjustments
that yet,
mostly
Dama.
to the AI. Pon, you want to go into detail on kind of the things that we're doing here?
Yeah, so we took a look at the AI for the minions. We know that there have been some like complaints about how they behave. Sometimes they don't feel very responsive. So now we have separate AI trees for both melee and archer. So in the future, especially, we can do a lot of separate treatment for them. But we did a performance pass on them to make sure that they were performative. Obviously, whenever you have something that's there times 72, you have to make sure that it's gonna work well. But the big things to note is the way they path to lane, the kind of jostling that we get, where sometimes the archer and the melee can kind of swap places or they get bunched up. That should be lessened. It'll be we've done some things to make their pathing smoother and make sure that they are moving to their locations as they should, as well as they are now going to be much more responsive and actually seeing you walk into lane. So no more you walk into lane, they just ignore you for a whole second. Now they'll be pretty snappy to actually look at you. And the final big thing, which will actually change a lot of how minion grouping works, is right now they currently target the same target until that target dies and then they choose a new one. Now after every shot they will retarget to their closest target, which means minion waves now kind of more evenly trade, and you're more likely to see them kind of bunch up in the center of the lane rather than like kind of snowball to one side and snowball there. So lots of changes that are going on there. It'll be really interesting to see you guys actually play around with them. But AI overall has kind of happened for these minions.
Big competitive implications here. You know, we've always kind of had some feedback about lane minions feeling a little inconsistent or sometimes really pushing waves even when no one was there. So now they should be more consistent, but AI is really difficult to predict exactly how it's going to occur. So of course, you know, keep an open dialogue with the community and with the pro players as we test this change.
Interesting.
All right, and one more point before we hop into the jungle. Just want to touch on mid lane really quick. The 2 new camps of the 2 small harpies that we added at the beginning of the season, these camps are going to be changed to have a single elder harpy instead of 2 smaller harpies.
Yeah, this is essentially a mid lane nerf. Mid laners are still getting really ahead in experience in most of our measurements.
Those
so instead
those
of two
harpies
small
were like
harpies, you're
mad
gonna have
easy to
one
kill
large
anyway.
harpy, so it's gonna be worth a little bit less golden experience, and it's gonna be a little harder to kill, and you won't be able to split it, so it's more easy to be stolen. And then there's just going to be a lot of changes today across the jungle to the XP and gold rewards, as well to the tankiness. These, I would just say, be careful over reading into them in text. It can be really hard to kind of estimate and imagine in your mind how all of these numbers being shifted are going to play out. But when you get to the PTS and you get to this update launched, we are expecting to see more consistent performance from all the different roles, especially in the XP and gold gain areas. So we want junglers to be more even with mid laners. We want the duo lane to be able to catch up to the rest of the team better. All the changes you're seeing today in regards to experience and gold is the goal is to make sure that all of the roles feel equally impactful.
Awesome.
Dang,
All right,
so
let's hop into the jungle.
They want to nerf
What's
mid
going
lane
on
farm.
in the jungle with these new jungle camps?
So we can kind of go down the list of each of the jungle monsters. The big things to note is some camps are now aggressive, so they will actually attack you upon sight and when you enter their domain.
Ooh.
So you can see here, these guys are looking at me, but they're just kind of staring at me. They might not want to fight me, so we'll see that kind of behavior later. But now these guys, upon being like tankier as well, will also, you see that warning there on the ground? They're attacking
Are we
me.
going in game? Oh yeah, okay, here we are.
There we go.
So you can see there, I have to dodge these things while I'm fighting. So red warning, gotta sidestep.
So every jungle camp is being assigned either aggressive
Oh.
or defensive. Aggressive monsters will attack you as soon as you enter the area, so you cannot even path through their area without them at least moving towards you.
In chat, if you've never played Smite before, or if
Some
you're
of them will still be
relatively
staying
new,
defensive, which is the way they currently
like-
behave. They won't attack until you hit them.
like
first.
this is a new thing
In
being
addition
added.
to that, every jungle camp is having a new ability added to it. This is the Centaur camp, and he has the Spear Thrust ability, which if you don't strafe it, you're going to take a lot more damage.
Correct. And you can see here, these guys are really tanky. I'm 51 minutes into this match. Don't use this as the benchmark for how tanky these camps are going to be.
Wow, 51 minutes.
Yeah, you can see that the setup time it took to get this map launched up for us to stream it, but yeah,
Right.
you can see here, this is the attack, that's the one on the ground, and each camp is going to have their own unique thing to kind of consider.
Dang,
Right,
that's
so
crazy.
The Manticores, Chimeras, Harpy, Gold Fury, Fire Giant, those are the aggressive monsters. So mostly the duo side of the map and the bosses. The
You can see there,
defensive
they walked at me.
monsters are the more wise and civilized monsters across the map. So the Oracles, the Pyromancer, the Centaurs, and the Satyrs, so the solo side of the map, those monsters will not attack you unless you attack them first. One of the most important things here is this really just makes certain parts of the map more dangerous. You can't just walk through the Gold Fury pit to gank duo anymore. The Gold Fury will see you and try to attack you. If you enter the Fire Giant's area, he tries to summon magma pools under you. I know a lot of people use that area for a safe like recalling.
Chad,
I feel
that's
like a especially
huge.
common place to do that pawn. Can't do that anymore. So we're making the whole map a little more tactical and just the way you fight around the map, as well as trying to add a
So
lot
just
more,
walking through the Fire
interesting
Giant pit,
interaction to the
like
experience of jungling,
he'll
or
aggro
just
on
clearing
you.
your jungle camp from whatever lane you're playing.
without touching them, dude. That's
You
crazy.
can see there's a
So,
lot
I
of, like... Oh, go ahead.
Before
No,
chat,
go ahead,
before
Paul,
like
sorry.
you would have to actually
As
like
you can see
attack
there,
the Fire
especially
Giant
when you're trying to ward this area, you might actually like
for him
cause
to
a fire,
attack. But
like a fire pool to spawn, and you actually have to play around that. So there's a lot of high-level consideration around these camps being more aggressive in defending their home territory.
jungler's gonna have it rough
I think,
for
we
real
just
though.
want to go down the list, and you want to start with the Alpha Harpy here. and just talk about
Holy,
all the
that's
new
crazy.
for all the new
I
jungle
kind of like
camps.
that though.
But let me go fast.
I kind of like that change. Holy, oh spot,
improvement.
yo, pawn is
First,
speed
you see
hacking,
Alpha
dude.
camp, you can see
Holy.
it's fighting me, and then it does that kind of screech attack. Obviously, this is in dev. Once we get to PTS, we'll have like the full icon stuff there. You can see the temp icon there, but this debuff is going to actually be affecting my ability to deal damage to targets. It's going to reduce my attack speed. So if I'm going to fight this, I probably want someone to help me to take that attack speed buff, or if I'm the hunter, I'm just going to have to deal with taking it more slowly.
One of the most
Ooh.
interesting things about these changes is that some of them will even
Yo.
affect the way you fight gods after, or many of them will affect the way that you fight gods, or if you end up being invaded or fighting another player while you're doing this, they're going to affect you here. So here, this 15% attack speed debuff, that slows down people that are fighting, and it's going to slow down your damage output. also, every jungle camp is designed with a sort of
Yo,
gameplay challenge.
nobody's
something
getting
that
that
you
harpy
see
now.
in, like, MMOs,
Like nobody
games,
really wanted to get
similar
it before.
games. So really,
Nobody's
this,
getting it
harpy,
now. Like
one
why
way
would
can
you,
mitigate
dude?
this, right, is to duo it. You can have your guardian take the attack speed debuff so that your hunter can still output that
Like
max damage.
that is so
And
not worth
each
it,
of
bro.
these, camps has a little kind of trick to the trade
Yo,
as you
30%
learn and
attack speed
with these new
debuff, dude,
mechanics.
for like not even like
All
the
right, next up we got
worthwhile
the Elder
experience
Harpy
in
and the
gold, dude.
regular Harpy.
Nah,
So these
fam.
Harpies don't have
You
any sort
missed
of
me
move
with that,
abilities,
bro.
But they do follow the aggressive
Nah,
behavior
dude.
type. So if you walk into their area, they'll go out to attack you.
Yep. The Harpies are the baseline monster for the whole map, and even the aggressive type, especially pathing through the mid lane, getting that Harpy to come at you, has made me jump scare a few times when I was just trying to gank people, or it could interrupt your
Yo, what's up,
blink,
Nate?
or
Why you
some
streaming
other things.
early?
You really
I
have to
just
be
wanted
aware
to
of your
stream this
surroundings.
Passion Note show, Nate.
Yeah, I tried to hide in a camp once, and I was like, oh no, the camp is just it's fighting me now. So it definitely
Right.
changes how you're gonna play.
Yeah.
For sure. All right,
So
next up
then-
we've got the Manticore, or the red buff, and he's got a new ability called Berserk.
Uh-oh.
I believe we're gonna go in game here for all of these. And show
What
you
is
guys.
this?
You actually
you're gonna
have to get
Yeah, because he's super tanky. This one triggers when he gets to low HP. A lot of the abilities will trigger as you're fighting them, like just shortly after fighting them, but some of them have specific cases. This one, when the Manticore gets to low HP, he goes Berserk, starts doing
What
that
the
rapid fire
heck?
tail stab attack,
What?
which is gonna make you take a lot more damage if you don't clear him quickly. And the kind of intended dev challenge here is to save your burst damage, save maybe an ability or two until he's
What?
already low health.
Yo, how many people
so
are
you
going
can
to
see
be
his
dying to
max rate
camps
right
now in
It can see
Conquest
for about
chat?
31 on me, and then when I actually get him to that.
How many people are
Berserk
going to be
range,
dying to camps
he's
in Conquest
attacking
now?
significantly
Everybody,
faster, like
dude.
1.5 or 1.7, as well as like he is. hitting
Everybody's
harder
going to
as
be
well.
dying.
Especially early game, this can absolutely destroy your health pool if you don't play around it.
For sure. All right, next up on the list we've got the Chimera, or the purple buff.
Dang.
His new ability is Void Sludge.
Oh, this is a
This
slow?
one's really interesting.
Oh,
We did a
no.
wide range of different types of abilities on these characters. We wanted to try a lot of different things. So you have things like the
Oh,
Centaur or the
no.
Manticore, which you kind of just dodge attacks. But then you have ones like the Void Sludge. So what this does is whoever gets first aggroed by the camp will be afflicted by the Chimera's
no.
Void Sludge. It's an unmissable ranged projectile. It'll shoot at you. What this does is apply a long duration debuff that decreases your protections by 20%, so it makes you, quite vulnerable. But it also has another new side effect, which it makes you nearly invisible to minion AI. So you will be able to take more damage from gods, but you will also be able to make like power plays in lanes without getting the minions to aggro you. So you can do a really cool,
What?
interesting rotation after you fight this camp, and you go to duo lane, where one of your gods and your team can actually prevent themselves from being attacked by the minions.
It doesn't
There's a
matter,
lot of
bro.
really high level things that you can do, especially in like level
What?
1, like lane pressure. That's like a thing that you're kind of like dealing with minion AI, making sure they don't damage you too much. This really changes up, like, you can actually be aggressive and know that they aren't going to hit you if you utilize this buff effectively.
Yo, so if this camp hits you
All right,
with that
next up is the
ability,
Centaur,
you get
or Yellow Buff.
20%
We kinda touched on this
protect.
at the
You
beginning of the
get
segment,
a
but if you guys wanna
20%
go into a little bit
protections
more detail on,
reduction, dude.
His new attack, the Spear Thrust.
Yeah, so this is a line warning area that is going to come from the center guy. He, if you get hit by it, it just does bonus damage. It's pretty significant, especially early on in the game, where if you just kind of eat all these, you're going to leave Yellow Buff with quite low health pool. So you got to strafe and actually like kind of combat strafe to make sure you're not being hit by it. This might make it difficult to see people coming. It's just an extra thing to kind of worry about. So try and avoid it if you can.
That's the simple dodge it one. For this one that we knew junglers would be soloing by themselves often in the early game, we didn't want anything too
Hand of the
fancy,
gods might be used
but we
more.
did want something that
100%,
made them have
bro.
to think a little bit more, made them have to move a little bit more. So you will have to watch out for that attack, which will do a lot more damage if you get hit by it.
Cool. All right, and then last up for the buff holders, we've got the Satyr, or the blue buff, and we're right here. So what's going on with this
Wait.
Satyr? It looks like he's missing some friends.
Wait, there's only
Yeah,
one.
this one has had some bigger balance changes as well. So now it's
What?
only a
What?
single Satyr, and he is worth the same amount of XP and gold as a normal trio of camps. So this blue camp is still worth the same amount. His special ability is that he will summon spirit satyrs to help him. These have very low HP, but do a lot of damage. And you'll need to make sure you save an AoE attack or a cleave to clear these while you're fighting him, or you will end up wasting all your basic attacks on them, or you'll end up taking a considerable amount of additional damage while fighting him.
You can see some of these abilities have cooldowns associated with them. So while I was fighting him the first time he spawned them, second time he was still on cooldown, and now the third time he's actually used it again.
Holy.
They are quite squishy. They don't give any actual additional reward, but if you don't have an AoE ability to really kind of get rid of them, they're going to ramp up some damage on you pretty quickly.
The cooldown is an interesting thing because even players can use the cooldown to
Goodness
as a
gracious.
way to circumvent the mechanic, and we're okay with that. But you know, you're wasting time, spending time letting the camp reset, things like that. And the cooldown is important because some of these, when triggered multiple times, could have caused other problems, right? We didn't want this to have a whole army of spirit satyrs just running across the jungle here. So I believe it's this one and the purple are the ones with strictly enforced cooldowns.
Yep.
Cool. All right, that wraps it up for buff camps. Let's start talking about some neutral objectives here. Pyromancer is up first, and the Pyromancer has a new ability.
Yo, Zerotic, what's up, baby? Oh God, why so early? I just wanted to stream the patch notes show for Smite, man. I'm still going to stream at my normal time this evening, but I just wanted to stream this too.
Are now CCable, and the whole point there is they have this long duration channel that if you don't interrupt and don't play around, it's going to actually pretty negatively affect your ability to clear them, or make it so that enemies are more easily able to actually jump on you and hurt you. So for Pyromancer here, you can see that big giant wind up into a actual aura effect that's on me right now.
So chat, what do you guys think about those camp changes?
This one, I believe, is I take more damage, if I am remembering correctly. I'm taking damage, increased damage from all sources.
Yeah, it looks like 15% if you get hit by it.
So yeah, if you're fighting Pyromancer and you don't really interrupt this effect, the enemy team can actually come out and pretty heavily swing a fight against you. So Pyromancer might not be as safe of an objective if you can't play around this mechanic, or you don't have access to it, or burn a stun, and that gives an opportunity for the enemy team to come in. So there's definitely a lot more consideration with when you're fighting the Pyromancer now.
One of the main effects that you're going to see is happening from the Pyromancer and the Gold Fury is that if you're just trying to bait the objective, so you know it's a common strategy in high level play where you attack it and you just kind of stand here and let the other team approach. This is going to make that more risky, specifically that play, because you're more likely to be afflicted by these additional abilities that these characters are now going to have.
Yo.
Cool. All right, moving right along, we're going to do the oracles next, and they have another ritual, but they have the guarding ritual. And I'll go ahead and read what they've got going on. It looks like shortly after the oracles are attacked, they'll channel for 3 seconds, and if they successfully channel that ability, they cast the Guardian Ritual, which grants the oracles 40% reduced damage from all sources.
Yeah, so you can see there, I didn't interrupt the channel, and so my first leap did like 110 damage versus the 220 that it did when they were actually fully vulnerable. So if you don't interrupt this, it can drastically slow down your ability to clear these this camp and get vision.
Bro. Dude.
It off one more time.
What the heck?
We touched on it earlier. For the Fire Giant, whenever you walk into the Fire Giant area, he is now going to spawn those multiple.
Who's gonna clear oracles now?
Yep, so you can see here I aggroed the Fire Giant, he's not happy with me, and now there's the fire pool underneath me. So, easily avoidable, not something that's going to really interfere too much, but if I'm trying to bait Fire Giant, if I'm trying to like push people out and get position on here, I now have a little bit more to consider, and it creates some opportunity for enemies to also counter-engage.
This one has scared me a few times, just in playtests, right? I'm just walking through the jungle, I think I'm okay, and then boom, this Fire Giant appears under me. Like, it was really about making the jungle feel more alive. We have all of these scary, intimidating, mythical beasts everywhere, and they just kind of hang out and wait for gods to start beating up on them, right? And we just felt like that was a thematic miss. So we wanted to take a chance to add a lot more.
It's got a 30-second cooldown, though.
While also adding a whole lot of more strategic elements to the map.
Yeah, I've definitely been paying more attention to the jungle monsters and what they do, and like recognizing that they're part of this living map.
30 seconds is a long time, though.
In other kind of situations, especially Fire Giant. He's like, get out of my area! Don't stand here. This isn't your like team fight platform.
30 seconds is a long time, though.
One more.
All right, last
Gold
up
Furies.
for neutral objectives, we've got the Gold Fury, and it looks like there's going to be each new Fury. Well, not new Fury. Each Fury. There's currently 3. You know, regular, Oni, and then Primal. They're each going to have a unique ability.
Uh-oh.
What's going on with the base Fury ability?
Yeah, so you can see there, that's the kind of channel that all the Gold Furies are going to do.
Oh, it's a cripple!
Camp as well, so they'll chase after you. But I believe the Gold Furies one is, I'm now worth more gold if I get killed.
Right. So all 3 Furies, their special ability is a channeling single target spell that stacks. So the Gold Fury will stack the Burden of Riches debuff on you, which will stack up to 6 times and slow your movement as well as make you worth more gold to enemy gods if killed.
Oh, what?
Which is pretty interesting. You know, it's a not that long duration of a debuff, so it's pretty specific interaction. But that's just an element of theming we really like. So the Gold Fury
the flavor
actually makes
cool.
you worth. Yeah, the flavor is top notch. So the Gold Fury actually makes you worth more gold. The Oni Fury will apply the Burden of War, which will increase damage taken from all sources, similarly to the Pyromancer.
Ooh.
And the Primal will do the Burden of Dread, which will reduce the damage dealt. So because of these changes, like, Burden of War makes you take more damage from all sources, you might not want your Guardian tanking that. You might want to shift it up. Oftentimes you still will. The Primal dealing reducing damage dealt, you definitely don't want, like, your Assassin will, sometimes start these camps on their own just because they have high lifesteal or something like that. You won't want them getting that stacked because they'll be losing.
But how many times
debuff.
do, like, Hunters
you can also interrupt these by
solo primals
wisely
at, like,
camp
late
and
game?
transferring
You know what
aggro
I'm
to
saying?
characters
And so if
too,
they
which I
do
assume a
that,
lot of the pro players
they're going to be
will
taking
master
doing
relatively
5%
quickly, but
less
the thing is
damage
that this
per
provides a lot
stack.
of additional threats
And it's
to
6
just
stacks, so it can
standing
be
around
30%.
this camp aggro to you, which is a pretty common thing to do. We want to make sure that has a reasonable amount of risk and reward involved.
Holy.
Conquest
sucks.
Along with all of these abilities, every single jungle camp, almost all of them, has a significant amount of balance notes, which we didn't go through and read all the numbers here because it'd be a little wordy for us to read out. But a lot of the camps have been made a little harder to clear, but they've also been made worth more experience. So we're gonna see junglers making their rotations, so as far as where in the jungle they're reaching,
all right,
what time
chat, you ready for the Galaxy Brain? Ready?
Down,
Galaxy Brain? I'm going to predict something here. Gonna predict something. So, do you know why they're talking about this first? So, and, like, all these changes to the conquest maps and making the jungle camps harder and all that? You know why they're doing that, right? Because you know what comes after this, like, item and god balance, right?
Be more equivalent in experience games.
So guess what they're going to do?
For sure.
They're gonna be buffing damage, 100%. Like, they're gonna be buffing items and gods. You know what I'm saying? So now it seems like all scary and like, oh man, like I can't believe it. But I get.
Physical penetration.
See, I'm telling you, they're gonna change
changes for
damage.
Penetration at the start of season 7. We were looking and seeing that in a lot of cases, people could kind of build one item and suddenly negate a lot of tanking.
Yeah, when we get our item, we will one-shot these things. That's what I'm saying.
Pen, make it a stat that people are more regularly and consciously building into their builds. And so, like Magical, where we created a few new percent pen options as well as some 20% options, physicals are also getting that change with a few tweaks. Unlike Magical, items like Spear of the Magus and Obsidian Shard, they have different considerations and different power level. So we've kind of adjusted all our items according to what physical specifically needs, as well as physicals have more kind of classes under their umbrella. So you have the Hunters, you have the Assassins, you have the Bruisers, and you have the Tanks, where Mages are mostly ability focused, and we have In-Hander. So there's a few more percent pen items. Some are specifically reserved for one type of class. Others are more, we're kind of expecting only certain classes to really lean towards them.
For sure. So physical percent penetration is now going to have a 40% cap, but you can get physical percent pen from a variety of items, and we're going to go right into it and start with Titan's Bane. We're going to be increasing the cost here on Titan's Bane, increasing the physical power, adding 20% pen, but there's a new passive. Your first ability cast gains 20% physical penetration, and that has a 10-second cooldown on the item.
Similar shift as you saw with Obsidian Shard, and this is especially going to be a much more popular item.
Titan's Bane is going to slap now,
as
chat.
I was mentioning, we had to do a little bit of different strategies in applying this to physical because there's a lot of different types of gods, and you used to see this as a one purchase for tank shredding on Hunters. Probably not going to see that as much anymore. Maybe still on some of them or some of the ability-based ones, but probably not as much anymore.
And one other important thing to note about physical pen that's a little bit different of consideration as well, just to kind of give an example, percent pen on towers, right? That's something that used to exist in Smite. When we removed it, Hunters saw their damage to towers decrease. With percent coming back as a stat in this way, you actually are going to see hunters and assassins do more damage to towers again.
Oh, let's
so
go.
Again, when we talk about like the different considerations magical versus physical have, this is like an example.
Let's go, chat.
Good.
Structure damage for the win, chat.
Next up, we're going to talk about the Executioner. We're going to be decreasing the cost on the item, increasing the power.
Let's go.
We're decreasing the passive shred from 12% per stack to 7% per stack.
Hunters unite, baby.
Hunters
This
had
was
a lot of
one.
Yeah, we went back and forth on this one for some time. Executioners is kind of analogous to the Spear of the Magus for mages, where it was this kind of defining item, but it was defining in a different way where most hunters could make use of this item really well. It wasn't really defining which hunters were good over other hunters, and so rather than try and change it too much, we just wanted to kind of go with our messaging of the percent pen should be something that you build over the course of the game. Buying this one item kind of negates tanks off the gate. So we're reducing the cost and making this easier to build and giving it some more raw power, just so that the curve is a bit better early on when you're fighting other special characters in lane or fighting minions. And then you can let the percent pen help with other percent pen items later on into the game. This balance point that we fall into is one that we had to like really go back and forth on. But given all the other changes that we're about to go into Hunters, we feel this is a good spot for it.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Let's go, baby.
Right, Hunter items up next. Atalanta's Bow. We're going to be adding 20% pin to the item, removing the 10% movement speed. And this item is going to have a new passive, which is a fun one. Whenever you get a killer assist on an enemy god, you gain Atalanta's agility, increasing your attack speed and decreasing your movement penalty for basic attack.
This is half Fatalis.
Ooh.
Or like less than that, because it's you have to get a killer assist on
Wait.
the first. And then you get a reduced
Wait.
Fatalis
So chat, Atalanta's already has 30 power and 30% attack speed on it. So now it's going to get 20% pen with this passive.
This one's specifically designed as kind of a new 20% pen option for hunters, since we pretty much took away Titan's Bane from them, except for some rare cases. Atalanta's Bow is your new option here, with 20% pen on it and still already pretty good attack speed and power stats from before that that were unchanged. It's losing the movement speed, but it's gaining so much more across the other. 20% penetration is a pretty huge swing here.
Yeah.
And this passive is really strong. Really lets you feel powerful and lets you follow up on kills really well.
Let's go, Rama, baby.
Cool.
Rama,
Next up, we've got
baby.
Rage, quick nerf to Rage here.
Let's go.
Increasing the cost by 100 gold from 2,300 to 2,400.
Rage is one of those items that we've seen people really pick up even when they're not going crit builds. So we feel it's a bit too effective for what it's doing, but given the amount that we're about to shake up Hunters, obviously
Oh
the
my gosh,
execution
babe.
we just talked about in physical pen shift, we wanted to keep that somewhat relevant to where it currently is and let players play around it and do some balancing on it afterwards, versus doing a large change to Rage right out the gate. We do recognize that it's a pretty strong item as a whole, and so we're giving it some cost increase to kind of note that.
Babe.
Next up on the list, Silver Branch Bow. We're going to be adding 10% physical penetration, removing the 10 flat pen, but we're increasing the physical power that you gain from the passive person.
How long does that last after a kill? I don't think they said.
Good. One of these days. This overcap is just a really cool theory crafter type of passive. People really like it. There's a lot of places where you can kind of accidentally build yourself into too much attack speed on certain hunters, especially ones with really strong stims. So I think this item passive is just a great necessity for the game. Now that it's a percent pen option, you can also slot it into builds to round out the amount of tank shred you need, and increasing the amount of power you gain from that passive, just going to make it more powerful in those high attack speed, high penetration builds. So I'm really excited about
This Silver Branch Bow would only be good on like
let's talk about
like
the
maybe
Shuriken.
Rama,
Let's start it off
Artemis,
with 8
and
pointer
Apollo.
Shuriken, lower on the tier. We're just reducing the attack speed there by 3% from 10 to 7, but we've got a new Shuriken coming onto the battleground, Shadow Steel Shuriken. And this is a brand new item. It's 2,500 gold. It's got 20 physical power, 10% attack speed, 20% crit chance, and a passive. Enemies hit by your critical strikes have 40% reduced healing and regeneration for 8 seconds.
Let's go!
Yes, we saw
Let's go,
Hunters
Chad!
especially kind of struggle to really build anti-heal options against teams with high healing. Toxic Blade kind of existed for high attack speed options. Brawlers, you might be able to justify some of the ability characters, but there wasn't one that really felt hunter-oriented.
Anti-heal
And so the
crit,
Shadow Steel Shuriken really fits
baby!
that slot. Obviously, you're taking a pretty big hit on your offensive stats. 20 power and 10% attack speed isn't much to really go with a crit build, but if you are building that, you have the other synergy items. It's gonna be a pretty good slot for any crit build.
Let's go!
All right, next up, talking about crit builds, Poison Star. We're going to be decreasing the attack speed on the item by 5%, and increasing the physical power from 30 to 35.
As we were creating the new shuriken, and as we're making some pretty big changes to Wind Demon, as you'll see next, we wanted each shuriken to have a specific stat that it excelled at. Right, Pon?
Time to kill
so
Navy's Afro?
the,
Yeah, right?
Poison Star is now the high power shuriken, whereas the Shadow Steel is the crit chance, and Wind Demon is going to be attack speed and penetration. As you see here, spoiler alert, we're about to give Wind Demon penetration, which I know is really scary, but wait until you see it.
Wait.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about Wind
let's
Demon
go.
here. We're going to be decreasing the crit chance from 20% to 15, decreasing the power from 30 to 25, and the passive is now going to provide 10% physical penetration in addition to attack speed and movement speed.
Wait, so they decrease
so
crit chance and power.
We wanted to find a good place for it to go into crit builds to get a little bit percent pen option. And we felt Wind Demon was the best choice for that. One, because we could put it on the passive, which delays
Hunters
the
are
pen a
back,
little
question
bit,
mark?
where you need to actually
We'll see, man.
to get it. As well as when we were adjusting our stats, this item losing out on power and critical strike chance means that you really do need to build more into that critical strike path. Before at 20%, you could almost justify not really building any other crit items with it. But now at 15%, we've seen what that does to crit items where they have lower chances. You really need to build that supplemental item. And so we're hoping that these stats were shifted enough to really make this a good home for the percent.
I don't know about
because
this.
We feel like it's going to be healthier than having just 10% all the time.
All right, let's move right along and talk about Soul Eater next. We're going to be decreasing the
I don't
cost
know
of
about
item,
Wind Demon now,
decreasing
chat.
the power,
Kind of meh.
removing the mana, but we're adding 10% physical pen, and it's going to provide 5% ability lifesteal on the base version, and then on the evolved version, we're decreasing the power, removing the mana, adding 10% physical pen, and increasing the physical ability lifesteal from 15% to 20%.
So this is becoming another percent pen option, which required some pretty big shifts to the item. It had ridiculously high amounts of power before to make it more attractive. Really kind of excessive how much power it had. Surprising that the item was not more popular, even though it had that
Hey,
much
Mr. Navy,
power
what's up, baby?
So as that power is being adjusted,
What's up?
the cost came down to be appropriate as well. Also, we just like the passive. People really enjoy this passive, and the fact that you don't really get to experience it at all until it's evolved is maybe a little too punishing. So instead, we are letting players experience some of that lifesteal healing.
Navy, they nerfed Afro
right upon purchase, and then it's going to get even stronger once the item evolves.
Yep.
All right, moving right along, we've got Heartseeker up next. We're going to be decreasing.
Not really, Shiori.
We're going to be removing the 10% flat pen and adding 10% physical pen. I'm sorry.
Yep. So the big thing here is we needed another percent pen option for the more high power ability assassin.
Yeah, so it was just her ultimate. So you know how her ultimate at rank 1 is a 90-second cooldown, and the more you level it, you can lower the cooldown to like 70 seconds. Now it's just 90 seconds across all the ranks.
Which is your answer as an assassin to the frontline tank that's really stopping you from getting to the back line.
All right, next up, Fail Not. We're going to be
sick. They reduced the cost of Heartseeker. That's awesome.
There you go. A lot of people like this item, but they felt like it was just lacking something. I think this is a pretty nice something to add to it. I think it fits well with what this item wants to do.
Yo, but Navy, Navy, they nerfed Jormungandr, they nerfed Cthulhu, they nerfed Yamoja.
All right, next up, I believe this is our last one up for
who else?
Physical percent pen. We've got
they nerfed Hell.
This item has been removed from the game, but you guys will be able to find something similar on a new item that's being added to the Hammer Tree that we'll talk about a little bit later. But an item called Serrated Edge is going to be taking Masamune's place. And this is a brand new
Oh,
item.
yeah, they nerfed time. Yep.
Gold, has 40 physical power, 10%
That's dumb. High res is dumb.
10%
Lol.
movement speed, 20 physical pen, and a passive. If all of your non-ultimate abilities are on cooldown, you gain 40 basic attack power and 10% lifesteal.
Yeah, this one's a really interesting one. And
What
I'm
is
curious to
this
see what
item?
Characters really end up making use
So
of
this is a new item, chat.
The goal
right
here
here
is to give players who use all their abilities to kind of get in and then finish off targets with basic attacks to be further rewarded for that kind of play style, choosing to risk maybe their movement ability to get in rather than escape. And it's obviously a 20% pen option, so this is going to be attractive for quite a number of characters, but who can really make use of that passive is the question.
Yeah, this is the assassin 20% pen option. So we have
What?
for the as we kind of looked at all of the penetration across the board, most of the items we talked about today have 20% or 10%.
Yo, this is a nemesis item. Think about that. Think about this.
40%.
You dash
That's
in,
what we think will drive a lot of
right?
build
Use your
decisions, a lot of
shield,
build diversity
use
going
your
forward. This one
your
happens to
slice
be
and
for our
dice,
melee only, so this would be
and then you're
available to
auto
assassins.
attacking with
But,
nemesis. So you
we'll
have
also
3
have
of
Titan's
your
Bane,
non-abilities on
Adamant's Bow
cooldown.
that will be applicable to more gods.
Yo, this will be a nemesis item.
All right, so that wraps it up for the physical penetration shift. We're going to talk about warrior items next, and we're going to start with Glad Shield. Glad Shield is going to be a T3 item in the mid-season update. It's going to be 2,500 gold, 25 power, a lot of other stats that we'll have on the screen for you in a second, but the big thing is the passive. We're changing that up significantly. Any enemy god who is under 50% health takes bonus damage from your abilities equal to 15 plus 2 per level of your physical power.
Hey?
So
Huh?
really what we're saying here is there's no more Glad Shield and Berserker Shield. There's tier 2 sustain
Yo, what's up,
items in
Scotty?
the soul
Wait,
lane
wait,
are
time out.
gone.
Pause.
We thought
Pause.
those were really
What?
stringing the meta or pushing it in a very specific direction for a long time. Now we're going to see a very different solo lane meta develop without these, whether we might see some certain gods rise to the top of the pack because of these changes, and
No.
we'll nerf those
This
gods
is
accordingly.
broken.
But the idea
This
here is
item
that,
is
we're
broken.
going to make the lane more aggressive in
No,
general.
no, no, no,
We're
no,
gonna
no, no, no,
prevent
no,
these
no.
characters from
This
just
is
over-sustaining against each other
chat.
like crazy.
This passive
People are maybe gonna
for
be
this
concerned about
item
gods that already have
for
built-in to sustain.
for
Those
physical,
gods were buying Gladiator Shield,
dude.
Berserker
That's the
Shields
same
anyway, and their
passive
sustain is
for
just
Rada
completely through the roof
Tahuti
now. So
on
no matter
majors.
what happens, we have reduced the amount of sustain in the total solo lane. Likely,
What?
our goal here is to see more kills, right? More solo kills.
No, no,
make
no,
solo
no, no,
laners
no,
feel
no.
like they can have a big
No, no,
impact
no,
on
no,
their
no.
team as a
This
whole,
is
and
bad.
actually winning
This
the lane
is
matchup,
bad.
as opposed to just outsustaining each
No.
other for 15-20 minutes, then joining a team fight.
No.
That's really the main goal behind these two changes. So both Gladiator Shield and Berserker Shield are going to be more expensive.
I know they're talking
They're gonna
about
be tier
they're
3s,
talking
they're gonna
about
have completely
they're
new
talking about
passive
soul laners
that don't
being able to
heal
kill each other. I don't care about that. Dude, I'm mad about the
For sure.
soul
Let's go ahead
laner
and talk
that's
about
going to be
Berserker
rolling up
Shield
to the
and new
team
item
fight
now.
and me
So
as a
like I said,
hunter
it's gonna be a T3
running at
item,
me.
and the new
You know what I'm
passive
saying?
on
Get me
Berserker Shield
below
is
50% health, dude,
if
and
you
then
drop
just
below
like
40%
stomping me into the
HP,
ground,
you
bro.
become Berserk, and Berserk provides 20 physical power, 20% attack speed, and lasts 5 seconds. Refreshes if you're healed.
What? What is this
More
item?
aggressive than the
What is
Gladiator
this
Shield,
item?
which
Look at
gives
that
you defensive
passive.
stats, and it kind of encourages you to use your abilities on
What?
lower health targets. This would encourage you to dive in, get low, and then use that
Chat.
low health additional boost to really get
If you
kills.
drop below 40%
Warriors
HP, become
like
berserk?
Erlang Shen, maybe Bellona can use this. Some assassins who want to be a bit more aggressive and can kind of play with their health a little bit more might also be able to utilize this really well.
What
Just
is this
complete
item,
change
chat?
To warrior itemization.
What?
Shield and Berserker
What
Shield
is
very
this
different
item?
to have kind of a ripple effect on pretty much everything.
What?
A
What?
lot of big changes going to
Alright.
come from that.
Yeah.
Chat.
For warrior items, we got a new item that we touched on earlier.
Now
It's
warriors are
called
getting
the
a
Sledge.
new
It's
item?
in the hammer tree, and the passive on this is going to be for each enemy.
What?
55 units of you, you're going to gain 10%, or not 10%, 10 magical and 10 physical protections, stacking up to 3 times.
The
It's
sledge.
essentially this is Masamune redesigned as a hammer with some stat changes, and now this will be available to all classes instead of just melee like it was in the katana tree. Treating this mostly as a warrior item, but we could certainly see it picked up on assassins from time to time, although they weren't really picking up Masamune in its current state that often, so I'm not sure that's too likely. But this was a really popular effect. People just like this idea of I get tankier when
Yeah,
I'm
it could work on
in the
Camo,
heat of
Damo.
battle. So it was a really popular effect we didn't want to cut from
All
the
right,
game,
that's
but we
it,
needed to
chat.
make room for
We're
that
taking
20%
warriors into
penetration
the
option
carry
in the
lane.
assassin-only tree, 'cause we did
That's
not
it,
want,
dude.
hunters
Gonna have to
buying
take
that.
warriors into the carry
So we
lane. No more
moved-
hunters.
essentially moved and renamed and rethemed.
Yep,
And we were trying
we're
to think
changing.
of a new type of hammer, and we came up with like a sledgehammer. And instead of giving it a fancy name, we're like, it's just the sledge. It's a sledgehammer, and watch out, here it comes.
Yep.
For sure.
A
Ridiculous.
lot more tanky,
Alright,
and the passive works off only 3 gods instead of 5, so skirmish oriented as well.
Right, that's a really good point to note that you
I-
don't
I-
have
I mean,
to
I don't
have
know,
such
Mr.
high
Navy. I
variance
mean,
on
like,
it.
her
Now you can
rank
actually,
1
reach that max efficiency
like rank
much
1
more
on her
often,
ult
and
is a
even
90-second
shout out
cooldown.
to my,
So I mean,
gamers
like,
and friends.
Yep.
I mean, Dim just making it 90 seconds
Alright,
across
let's
all
move on and
ranks
talk about
just
all
means
the
you just
other
need to
items
build
getting
more
changed in
cooldowns. I
mid-season.
mean, like,
Let's
it's
start
not
with
that bad.
Assassin's Blessing. We're going to be increasing the health on the item. It's now going to provide 7 physical and magical power.
Just build more
Increasing
cooldown.
the healing from jungle monsters when you kill them, but we're decreasing the bonus damage done to jungle monsters.
Yeah, so this kind of goes along with the goal of the jungle being a more difficult but rewarding objective to fight. We've tuned the numbers so they feel good to fight as other classes, but with that 40%, junglers still kind of just blew through everything and killed everything, and it made it difficult to increase their reward or to really balance them accordingly. And so we've decreased the amount of bonus damage they get. They still are the premier jungle slayers. They're the ones that farm the jungle. And just to make up for the fact that they're going to be a little bit slower at killing things, they're going to gain some bonus sustain so they can survive, as well as the item itself. We've seen a lot of people complain that it just doesn't feel a good enough starter in its own right outside of being able to kill jungle camps. So it's getting a boost of health that you can use maybe when you're trying to gank, and additional power that's going to make you effective against all targets.
So,
I mean,
Alright, next up.
Sorry,
Go
didn't
ahead,
mean to
AJ,
interrupt.
sorry.
Just
Yeah.
a lot of times,
they only showed like 3
heard
skins,
about
Navy,
Assassin's
for
Blessing
the
needing to
new
have a
chapter
little
of the
bit more
Grim
wider
Omens.
application, as Pon touched on, the shift down, and just want people to
It
understand
was
that you're gonna be
Vulcan,
also experiencing
Tier,
this on rebalanced jungle camps.
and
With
Nox.
different tankiness stats too, so things are going to feel a little different, and we just want to encourage experimentation. Try out a lot of different junglers, see which ones really feel like they work and which ones don't, and we'll be excited to watch and try out those changes ourselves.
For sure. All right, next up we got Warlock Staff. We're going to be increasing the base power from 65 to 85, but decreasing the base power per stack that the item grants.
What?
So even though this looks like a shift, it's actually a buff because it's buffing it at both stages of its life cycle, just not buffing it as much late game. This was an item we redesigned at Season 7 and we preemptively nerfed before launch because of our internal
I don't want to hear a
testing.
single person
It
talk
was
about how
extremely powerful.
OP Apro
However,
is
we
from now
launched
on.
it a little underwhelming, and then all players weren't there for
let it be
internal
known,
testing,
Navy,
so they
I
never
never
saw
complained.
that powerful Warlock
I
staff
never
build,
complained, Navy.
that we were running. So we
That
wanted
would
to
be
make sure that
Killboy.
we make this item actually a viable option for mages, and we think that the healthier way to do that is through more power. I think it's good for us to have a power health balanced item. Putting too much tankiness on that item is gonna cause problems for sure. So we focused on this specific update on giving it more power.
All right, moving right along. Book of Thoth going to be seeing a decrease in cost.
What?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of builds kind of divert from doing these more stacking items, more long-term focused investment. Part of that's just because they were difficult to really build into as they should be, but they're a bit too difficult for that. So Book of Thoth, getting a cost reduction, making it easier to start that build path and get some of its power. We've seen some DPS like kind of calculations around like how it compares to other items, and it just didn't. The difficulty for building it didn't really justify the amount of power you got out of it. So making it easier to build will help that.
Yeah. Dude, I haven't used Book of Thoth since like
Right, next up, we've got Tyrannical
last
Playhouse,
season.
a new item that we saw this year. We're going to be increasing the magical power here, and then also increasing the bonus minion health that it grants.
Wait, what?
This is essentially a revert. People saw this item at Season 7. I think they just got like a little bit of sticker shock, and we listened to the feedback and we nerfed the
Dude, I don't
item,
know why
and when it
Emotion's
launched,
being nerfed a lot.
pretty
She needs a
much no one
buff?
bought
Oh,
it.
heck no,
So
bro.
we're buffing it back.
Emotion needs to
in a
be
few
nerfed
ways
into the
to hopefully
ground,
bring it back
dude.
to be
She's
a
dumb.
viable option, maybe opening up the soul lane to more guardians.
She does not need a buff, dude.
but,
You're crazy, Mr.
We
Navy.
didn't feel like we really ever got to see this item really tested because we might have over nerfed it pre-Season 7.
All right, next up is a fun one, Mail of Renewal. We're going to be decreasing the time it takes to heal for 15% and regain 15% mana from 5 seconds to 3 seconds.
She's the weakest.
Yeah,
No,
with some
she
sustain
is not the
options being
weakest
removed
guardian.
from kind of warrior
Negative.
bucket, some of the other sustain options that
Oh,
exist could be
no.
a bit more effective. Mail renewal takes a long time.
She
to
is
really get
not the
health
weakest
going after you
guardian.
secure an objective or win a team fight. Just making it easier and also making it less prone to being overwritten. Because if you only get like one tick of it and then you get another kill or another objective, it would kind of eat the rest of it. Much more of it is going to be.
Yo, Navy, they also put a new item in the game. It's called Shadow Shuriken that has crit on it and anti-heal.
The healing per second on this item.
Yeah, Stone of Gaia, although we haven't seen it much in the meta, it is a pretty consistently popular item in our casual player circles. Players playing Assault, players playing at a slightly lower skill levels of Conquest. That extra free sustain just feels really good. But it's been I think most people would agree that it's been feeling underpowered for quite a while. So we're just buffing that sustain. And
Oh,
Isaiah,
Stonagaya
you
starting
said it
assault,
really well.
boys.
As we're
Let's go.
shifting
Chat,
some of the
assault
sustain
mains,
options
rise
around
up, dude.
here, we're not
Stonagaya, let's
necessarily
get it.
eliminating it all from the game entirely.
Anti-heal
We
crit
are
item
making
is
it
scary?
focus
It
towards
is,
a
because it
little
has
bit more
power
intuitive
and
to late
attack
game
speed
when you
on
buy
it.
it. It's gonna be harder to rush, and focusing a little
It's
bit more on
crazy.
specifically tankier or aggressive items being separated as opposed to items like Gladiator Shield. This just gave you the perfect rounded out stats of all attack, protection, counter, CDR, and healing all in one item. That was just too
So
much.
healing is useless in this game now? No,
Sure.
it's not useless.
All right, here is a spicy one for you guys. Hide of the Nemean Lion.
Oh, please nerf it.
Current passive.
Yes!
It's going to have a new passive.
No, nerf it.
No
15
more
seconds
reflect
for the
damage.
item
No more reflect damage.
to generate a block stack for the
Let's
item.
go. No more reflect damage,
Yeah,
chat.
reflect damage is
Let's
one of those things that,
go.
like, when it's strong,
Hunters
it feels bad
rise
to play
up.
against.
Hunters
When it's not strong, it
rise
feels bad
up.
to play
Let's
as. It's a
go.
counter option that kind of feels weird to play around. In short bursts in controlled settings, like with relics and with god abilities, it's more fair, but this kind of always-on effect feels very difficult and punishing to play around. We're just going to move its effect to something that does a similar goal of mitigating offensive, especially range.
What does that
damage or
even
basic
mean?
attack damage,
So
and
like,
making it a more
Height of the
consistent,
Nemean,
reliable proc
like
that
every time you
is
attack,
actually stronger at
there was a
actually
percent
stopping
damage
what happened to you,
of
but the
whatever
hunter
damage you
isn't gonna
dealt
also
back
need
to you. You
a
know
lot
what I'm
of
saying?
its own
Reflect
trying to
damage.
actually do damage.
I'm really interested to see what the hunter mains out there say about this item.
Yes,
because
we're rejoicing.
reflect
We
damage
are
was a
rejoicing.
Really controversial discussion, and a lot of times people were really frustrated by it. But block stacks are really powerful too. And obviously we tried to design this item
No.
to fit kind of similar
I would rather
anti-hunter
deal
role,
with
but do it in a
block
less
stacks
frustrating way.
than reflect damage.
So I'm interested to see what
100%.
the players think about it and how this feels to play against. And I would also note that this passive has the cooldown time before it generates a block stack is a really strong balance point, right? Right now it's a relatively short time because we expect you most of the time to just clear the block stack and then continue fighting. But we could increase that time as a pretty easy way to balance this item going forward.
All right, next up on the list, we've got Ring of Hecate, and this item is going to be seeing a little bit of a rework here, and it's going to have a new passive. Each successful
Maybe
basic
it's
attack
the out of
adds
combat
1
healing
hex to
that is
enemies
always a
and
problem.
empower
You know what I'm
you.
saying?
Enemies are going to be
So,
receiving 5%
like,
decrease
yes,
in power
mid-fight,
stack,
anti-heal is very
you
important,
receive
but
5%
in
increased power and healing gain.
in like sieging and stuff like that,
So,
for
Ring of
example,
Hecate, we tried,
or like team fights,
and failed,
once
I'd
the
say,
anti-heal
to
wears
rework
off,
a
you
ring
know what I'm
item
saying?
from
That's
Season
where
7, which is okay,
its healing
I
is
think our
really,
goals
really
at that
good.
time
You know what I'm
made
saying?
sense, but we
So,
really
like,
kinda
it's
found that
8
we can't
seconds
outcompete
on
Bancroft's
Divine
talent,
Ruin.
without deleting
I
that
think
item from the
Toxic
game or,
Blade is
heavily
like
reworking it,
5
and
or
that
6
is a really
seconds.
popular
I
item,
think
so
Beat Stick is
we're
like 7
pivoting on
seconds or
Ring of
whatever.
Hecate,
You know what I'm saying?
making it more of
So,
a late game focus and
it's
making it
when that
more
wears
of
off, or after a team
boxing
fight, or
focus.
after like
So
trying to
really
siege
what
or
this is
something like
kind
that.
of
You know what I mean?
reminiscent of
That healing comes into
Ichabod,
play.
but for mage ADCs. So you can build into this in a later game, and you can use this when you're kind of in that stage where most of the team has left you alone in that long lane, and you're 1v1ing the enemy hunter, as a way to get a really strong power swing and sustain swing.
What the heck?
Interesting
This
to
ring
say
is
as well,
broken
this,
now.
Increased healing.
Huh?
It's not like what is it, Rod of Asclepius and Caduceus Shield, which kind of specifically affect your healing.
Wait.
This one can affect heals that apply to you.
Wait. So you use this
Actually,
ring, auto attack
Yeah,
somebody
that's a little
3
bit
times, and they
That's good.
have
It works like that. The goal here is
15%
really get that
decreased
kind of, like,
power?
shifty power
What?
exchange, make it more hex-like, fit with the theme of Ring of Hecate. And
What
also
is
keep it focused
this?
on like the life steal sustain. So you're improving that while you're also decreasing your opponent's ability to really fight against you.
Navy, I guarantee you it's gonna
Sorry,
be
I
fine.
got tripped up a little bit there. What I was saying is that this
I'm
does
done
work
with this
almost
update.
more
Why are
like
you done with this
self-buff,
update, Shiori?
like Asclepius and Caduceus, where this is not just increasing your life steal, this is going to increase any healing done to you. So if you are even playing with a healer, this is going to make you healed 4 more, not something that's
Time to hit assault
one
again
of
and
those
see who to
passive
be now. Well,
Protoss
right,
two.
things like that. Yeah, so it has some pretty interesting interactions.
oh, they nerfed
Alright,
Nike
next
too,
up on
guys.
list,
By the
we
way.
got Divine Ruin. We're going to be increasing the power for the item.
No.
Decreasing the pen.
Yes, and this also might be paired well with Spear of Desolation, which is also.
I would
next, so
talk
might be
about
worth
them
thinking
together, Pon, yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Spear of Desolation, we're decreasing the pin on that as well. Both of them from 15 down to 10.
Yeah, so we saw the kind of rise of the double pen mage build where they're just
Yeah, they nerfed
getting a lot of
Jormungandr.
effectiveness.
Yeah.
These pen options should be more kind of dispersed throughout and be these more situational choices, but they were just being too effective.
So if I pick
Spear
Afro,
of
everybody
Desolation
gonna
already
buy
provides a
this
lot of
item?
power in addition to utility.
Oh,
as
maybe
a
not.
option.
Navy.
So we felt like it could just kind of use the nerf in general. But Divine Ruin, which is this more focused anti-heal option, we want to make sure that it still feels really good to buy. Reducing the pen was probably too much of a hit on its own, so we've also given it some power. And it's also paired with the next upcoming one, which is another pen option that is probably going to be on a lot of people's radars. So the idea of stacking 3 pen options.
Yeah, they nerfed Yorm Chiori, yeah.
Let's get into it.
But they
Spirit of
only
Magus is
nerfed
single
his
rework
basic
here.
attack
It's gonna
damage.
Have a new passive. Any god that you damage becomes marked and debuffed to take 7.5% increased damage from all sources for 10 seconds.
Hello?
So, Spear of the Magus' recent passive also
Hello?
was one of our less successful changes from Season 7, so we were willing and we were happy to adjust this and pivot it in the new meta.
Excuse me?
One main thing to note is that just how we still decreased Mage's access to flat pen across the board, we now have 10, 10, 10 across 3 items. When
That
previously
passive,
Spear of the
though.
Magus alone was applying like
What?
50 flat pen or something crazy like that.
What?
Yeah.
So we have taken that down a notch too. So on to Spear of Magus' new
Don't worry,
passive.
most people don't know how to
We're
build.
trying to find
Facts.
an interesting damage amplification passive, which
They might be showing
actually
more
is
skins.
harder to do than it sounds. So we already have things like Soul
Look at
Reaver
this
and
item,
Hellkine's
dude.
Ring, which are kind of
Navy.
straight bonus damage.
Put this
Those are
item.
fun effects, but
Put
I
this
do
item
think
on
we need
Afro,
more
dude.
of those.
Put this
I
item
think
on. This
one
is a
each
mage
kind of
item.
The right way to go about it. We started talking a lot about Shaman's Ring and how much
Ew.
people really enjoyed that item and how much fun it was. But that item was really confusing because
This
instead,
item
we
is
essentially, the way we
broken.
announced that item is instead of just giving you the appropriate amount of stats and giving it a
What?
damage amp passive,
Yo.
it was just balanced so that the bonus damage plus the stats was just about the
Yo,
same as the
low
damage
key,
you
people
buy
are gonna
from
be getting
another
one
10
shot.
power item, right?
Yeah, it didn't really
this
change
Spear of
much.
Magus yeah, it
Dude,
didn't
Afro
really
is
affect
now
your
more
build as much as
damage
people felt
than
like it
healer.
did, but they did
I
like
mean,
the
they're both
theming
kind of
and
one and the
visuals.
same a little bit.
So
You know what I'm
this new
saying?
Spear of the Magus is using a lot of the same theming and visuals, except it has a really interesting specific difference, was that it increases damage from all sources.
Too much broken
so you
items.
can actually use your abilities as a mage to help your entire team do more damage to a target, which Shaman's Ring
I know,
didn't
but that's
do.
what makes it kind of
And that's what
interesting,
lets
though.
you get a
You know what I'm
unique
saying?
Damage amplification
Is you finding
here
out,
on the Spear of Magus,
like,
that's not just okay,
just
that's a new
where
way that we
you
can
know
code a
those
paint
items
more
are
damage,
like
right?
the
This
best
actually
on. You know what I'm saying?
has
What
a
gods
team
are the
fight,
best on.
Application effect. And it's also important to notice that gods can only have one of these, and it has an internal cooldown, so you can only apply it to one god at a time. So if you hit a, if you hit a big AoE, one of those gods will get the debuff, and your item will go on cooldown until, so they're synced up, right? So you only have one person marked at one time. You could, however, buy multiple Spear Maguses across multiple gods on your team and apply this to multiple enemies.
Dang,
sure.
dude.
All right, guys, we're getting towards the end of items here. Warrior Tabby up next. It's now going to provide 100 mana.
Yep, this one is just
okay.
Warrior Tabby specifically was in a weird spot for boots where it's like 40 power is really good, but we've done a lot to other boots to make them a bit more interesting, and this one was focused on abilities but didn't really help you with ability usage.
Man.
So now you get a little bit of extra mana to play around.
This
with
only,
power
I
that you
mean,
find.
like, yeah, that's kind of meh.
Cool. All right, let's talk about relics now. Teleport up first. Players will now be able to use the teleport relic to teleport to phoenixes.
Shout outs to the Olympians on this one. Didn't
Ooh.
really see any reason
All right,
not
Beast.
to let people do this. I assume this was
Best
a
patch
design
ever.
decision made
I always
ages
love
ago that we
mid-season,
just
man.
had
It's
to
always
revisit.
crazy.
So
They always do
it was a
crazy
pretty
stuff.
relatively quick discussion. We were like, sure, more control, more flexibility over the item.
Yo, to be able to
Don't see any
teleport
problems
to a phoenix is actually huge.
All right, next up.
That's actually
Bomb.
huge.
This item is getting a change. When it's applied, it's now going to reduce active shields by 50%.
Yeah, shields have become a much
Ooh.
more integral part to Smite. We've seen them more used.
I gotta
because
go
they're
too.
very
See you
much
later.
healing
All right,
that isn't
Shiori.
permanent.
Hey, thanks for
But
hanging
there
out,
was
guys.
really a great counterplay option. We added a bit.
I'll see you guys later
to
tonight.
doing more damage to shields. Now we're gonna let you interact with that more effectively. And Kurstonk was one of those items that we actually looked at those kind of stats for it, and even when it was being built in situations where it should be good, it wasn't seeing as much success. So a little bit of extra flair, a little bit of extra use case feels appropriate here. And it's also important to note this is when applied. So you're not reducing all shielding for the entire duration. It's only if they have a shield applied to them when you activate this, it takes 50% away from that.
Yeah, it's almost like an AoE hit effect.
Right.
Huh.
And this is tied in closely to the next relic change.
Shell.
Yep.
There you go.
This one's really
Sundering
spicy.
Spear.
Oh.
Sundering Spear will now destroy enemy shields when applied.
Ooh.
Yep,
Yep.
so another anti-shield, but stronger, but single target. So this will
They buffed the
destroy
anti-heal relic?
any amount
They
of shield blue health
No,
that the
they
opponent
didn't.
has at the time you hit
They
them.
only made it take down shields. That's it. They didn't
Yeah,
increase
Thundering Sphere is
like
really interesting.
they
There's
didn't
some
increase
shield
like how
characters
much
that are gonna
healing
be
it,
a little bit
it
afraid of this,
decreases or
but if
anything
you're
like
running
that.
Relic
They
Slot at a
just
major cooldown,
they
heal
just
with
gave
another
it the
character stronger will
ability
be that
to
seems ultimately
reduce shields by
Yeah, probably
50%.
still going to be more relevant in modes like Joust and Duel and stuff
So
like that. But
that's it.
still, we wanted to make sure this mechanic had a proper counter, and we wanted to make sure these relics had a little bit more extra oomph to them because they're not super popular right now.
Cool. All right, that wraps it up for items. And
Yeah, they
relics.
buffed
It's
it.
time to talk about gods, guys.
So now more people to
Before
pick it.
we get into it, just wanted
And
to kind of
Navy,
preface
most
our
people
God
don't pay
section
attention
here.
to like
We
what
got
relics
one
do.
rework coming in mid-season. It's going to be for
You know,
Ratatosk.
everybody picks up
The Loki rework is still in development. We just need a little bit
meditation
more time
and
to clean
Aegis.
things up for you guys, but we didn't forget about it. It's still coming. We're still working on it, but Ratatosk are going to be receiving a rework in mid-season update. Not quite Loki.
Yeah, thanks, Isaiah. I don't want to get into too much detail about Loki, but obviously that rework we find is going to be very difficult to execute and to launch, and it's got a lot of attention being paid to it. So we want to make sure it gets the proper time, not just from the design team, but from the art team and the tech team as we're approaching Loki. And just this mid-season was huge. You know, we have some of the most insane skins we've ever made in the history of Smite in this update. We have a lot of crazy stuff from the art team and the tech team across the board. So Loki is going to be delayed a couple patches, and Ratatosker, who we feel like we had a really clear path forward with, is going to be our feature rework for this update.
Ooh.
All right,
Okay.
I know
right
people want
into
those
it.
acorns back.
I know. Let's talk about the Acorn of Yggdrasil. And I'm not going to read all of this. Do you guys just want to talk about what we did to Acorn and how we're moving forward?
So one important thing to know about this rework, kind of out the front, is Dart's unchanged. Flurry is unchanged. Acorn Blast has a slight balance adjustment, and you'll see it, as well as the ult is unchanged. So players who like the current flow of Ratatosker's kit, it's there, it's fully intact, and all we're doing is adding functionality based off the old Acorn system, where you'd buy an Acorn and your abilities change, or you get different effects when you use your abilities. So if you like current Ratatosker, it's all still there, and now you get to the choice of what you want to really augment on it. So you make that choice with the Acorn of Yggdrasil. It now has two different kind of branching trees, the lively side and then the nettle side. One is more focused on tankiness and health, and the other one's more focused on more offensive-oriented play styles.
Okay.
So if you want to hop in, we can actually start showing it off.
Pon was the main designer working on this Ratatosker change, so I'm going to let him do most of the talking. But really the goal of the Acorns is to facilitate many different play styles. So each of the Acorns have, you know, specific roles or specific lanes that we think they'll excel in more with Ratatosker than others.
Ooh.
Cool.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about. We talked about the two trees. Let's start off with the evergreen acorn pond.
Yep. So the evergreen acorn is going to give you some power, some movement speed, and it's actually going to increase your maximum health pool based off how many health items you have. So obviously it's skewing more towards the raw tanky side, letting you engage in with the ultimate. And its passive is familiar for players who use the current acorn. When Ratatosker
that's cute.
To an enemy god with any ability, he restores 7% of his maximum health and mana. So this lets
I
you really
think it
dive
is
in,
Navy. I don't
utilize all
know.
your
I didn't
abilities
play
to
the
stay
game
healthy and
in
be that
season
kind of, like,
1.
frontline for your team, if that's the playstyle that you want to go for. It's probably the simplest acorn, but it's also one that matches its current playstyle pretty closely.
He was like that in the
and a lot of
past.
people kind of like this really idea of like being the front line, engaging with the ultimate for their team. So that's evergreen. And it's also important to note, I don't know if we're in game.
Yes,
we are in game. Awesome. You can see here that I actually have 2 acorns following me. It should be 1. We're working on it for BTS, but know that you will have the acorn following you. And when you buy acorns, you can see here, now it's glowing the color. Look at that. You got a little friend. It's also important to note that this works on every skin, so every skin has its own unique acorn.
How the updates so far?
So like
they've been really,
ones,
really crazy.
This kind of like cell shaded style. For the Christmas one, it's actually the ornament, so you get a little bit extra flair in all your skins as well.
Navy wasn't happy about Afro. Not really.
Without having to use this.
He'll be okay though.
Yep, so that's Evergreen Acorn.
But the updates have been like they're always insane, and they always like really kind of shake things up. And this has been no different.
And then go find an Odin bot. And you can see abilities function about as you would expect them to. You get a nice. You can see also how chunky that heal is. So you can definitely sustain yourself pretty aggressively in a team fight. So this is your more frontline focused ability healing style Acorn. can only have 1 acorn at a time as well, similar to old Ratatosker.
Percent of max health is...
Yeah, it definitely keeps it interesting, for sure. Yep.
And the idea here is we want to shift you towards the playstyle that you're going
You don't want
towards.
it to get
If you want
stale,
to be like
over
tank,
time.
You're going to need that health, because that's something that you don't have in this assassin. So this kind of class shifts you, similar to almost masks, just without the drawback.
Holy.
On to the next one, we got
let's
Thick
talk
Bark
about
Acorn.
Thick Bark Acorn.
Yep. So this one is a little bit less power, but now you get bonus protections, again, class shifting in a similar way.
Okay.
And when Ratatosker deals damage with an ability, he restores 3% of his maximum health. This is shared from the Lively Acorn passive. So this whole tree kind of gets that extra benefit. But Flurry now provides protections equal to the protection shred from enemy gods. So the more you shred, the more you're actually boosting your own protections, as well as Flurry just gets an additional charge. You get to use it twice. So we can buy it here. You can see I also have the passive meter kind of indicating my cooldown status.
What?
So you can get an idea of how many acorns that you have available for you, or how many flurries you have available and when they're going to come back up. Let's go back to the Odins real quick.
Holy.
You can see my tankiness is already up a little bit. But now when I flurry on these 2 Odins, I have quite a bit more protections. And I can keep stacking that up and refreshing it, especially on multiple gods. So I can get a large amount of protections very quickly if I focus on that. So this lets me dive in, shred protections for my team, and be tanky so I can serve that front line role. This is the more bruiser acorn.
Holy moly.
Alright, so let's switch over to the nettle side and start with the bristlebush acorn.
Yep, so nettle is a bit more power than the lively acorn, but it doesn't have a passive to shift it as much. But bristlebush is 20%, or sorry, 45 magic power, 20% movement speed, and 20% critical strike chance.
What?
Addition,
crit acorn.
Crit acorn, dude?
Crit acorn.
Yes, it's crit acorn. So the old rat used to have dart crit.
What?
It was in a way that was much more variable, a lot more things going on with it. This one's more focused on encouraging you to dart in, get a really powerful dart out, and then follow up with basic attacks on your slow target that you've isolated. So here you can see Dart now deals 40% increased damage, so it's just a stronger ability and can critically strike, so you can start building critical strike items to really augment it. And when Dart deals damage to any enemy, he gains 10% physical lifesteal and 10% basic attack damage. So once you dart onto a target, especially if you crit, you can just kind of follow up and wail a lot harder on them. We get cooldown. Let's see if I can get it. How many darts does it take to get a crit with 20%? Oh no!
Unlucky.
It's not going to happen.
Is it?
There we go.
Hey!
Yo, what
that's why
the
you
heck?
can actually build critical strike with this item. But there
First
you can
time this
see
item gets built in Pro League, it's going to happen on the first dart.
Yep. So lots of interesting
Yo.
stuff. You can now crit with Dart. You can really engage and get a sudden burst, and it's more focused on following up with basic attacks. That's the only way Ratatosker can use is kind of like crit attacks. He can use it with his hit chain, so you're rewarded by diving in and following up with basic attacks.
Oh my goodness, chat.
Thistlethorn, which is hard to say. I have to slow down every time I say it.
Bristlebush.
I think it's easier than it's harder than Bristlebush.
I think Thistlethorn. Easier to say.
Yep. 45 power, 20% movement speed, no critical strike chance, but enemies hit by Acorn Blast are debuffed, taking 5% additional damage from Ratatosker's abilities, stacking up to 3 times.
What
Acorn
in
Blast
the
now
world?
fires 5 acorns. So you can see here, you got 5 acorns.
What?
Important to note. Important to note.
I'm sorry.
That you only still need 3 acorns to hit the stun, like the base Acorn Blast ability. So that has been updated to be more clear, but this means that this tool is not only a much more powerful straight-up burst on targets, but it's a bit more of a reliable range stun. You can see if I get a little bit closer, I can actually start reliably stunning people at range. So lots of interesting things here, but the focus is use Acorn Blast, augment it, really set up bonus ability damage for the rest of your abilities, and then follow up with that ability power. So this is the more standard assassin ability user Ratatosker experience. With
right.
this,
Since we're
we
talking
also
about
did
Acorn Blast, we've got some balance adjustments to the ability, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
So
he's
Acorn Blast,
gonna
now that
be
you can shoot 5
really
acorns,
good
you
now.
have to do damage adjustments and some balance adjustments to it. The big thing here is the damage for using Acorn Blast like normal Ratatosker is basically the same. There's a bit more front-loaded, so hitting 1 Acorn's a bit more than hitting 2 and 3 in the amount of damage it does, but the total, if you like shotgun blast someone effectively, is the same. And then that means Acorns 4 and 5 deal reduced damage so that the damage doesn't go out of control. Because if it got full damage on each Acorn Blast, this one would just be the top tier Acorn. Its damage is a bit more reined in so that each Acorn has its own unique use cases and feels balanced compared to the other ones. So it did get 1 balance adjustment on one of its base abilities, but outside of that, Ratatosker functions the way you'd expect, and now you can focus on being an ability user, a more basic attack focused user, and darting in aggressively. You can be the bruiser for your team and really shred prots on the enemy team, especially because you have two charges, so you can really keep that shred up. Or if you just want to be a front line and be super healthy and tanky, you can go the Evergreen Acorn and get a lot of health. So lots of ways to shift Ratatosker. Maybe we'll see him not only in the jungle, but maybe in the solo lane, maybe even in the support role if you can figure out how to make that work. Just really interesting stuff with these Acorns, and we're happy that we could bring back this kind of unique part to Ratatosker in a way that we feel is going to be good for the character.
For sure, it'll definitely be cool to see when players are picking up specific Acorns for different situations.
Right. Awesome,
Right,
I think that's
our rework for
Ratatosker.
mid-season. Yeah, that's Ratatosker. So let's go ahead and hop into God Balance for mid-season.
All right, here we go.
Like we said earlier, that's our one rework for mid-season. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the rest of the gods getting updated. And start off with Ao Kwang. We're going to be increasing the slow range on Dragon Call and decreasing the cooldown on Wildstorm.
Yeah, so this ranged slow attack and these Wildstorm, these were actually nerfs we did a while back, which we are reverting. Ao Kwang has been pretty far out of the meta for a while now. Want to give him a chance to come back. You're going to see a lot of buffs today where we were really trying to focus on gods that we feel like have been suffering and being out of the meta for a while and just trying to bring back their core features. So I think these changes in Ao Kwang are definitely going to increase his jungle clear, definitely going to increase his ability to control a team fight.
I don't know. I never really played Ao Kwang that much, chat.
Maybe we'll see the Dragon King return to his throne.
I don't know.
For sure. All right, next up, Apollo. We're making some changes to Serenade, increasing the physical protections that he gains, and also adjusting the mesmerize duration. And then across the sky, we're going to be increasing the scaling from the ability.
Yeah, so when we updated his passive, I believe in Season 7, we saw kind of a rise in Apollo players, but that quickly fell off. People didn't really still value him as much, and so we feel pretty safe to buff more of his utility in Serenade, making him a more effective boxer and especially increasing the mesmerize duration early. Combined with rewarding players for using across the sky aggressively. If you're using it to like actually just escape, it's as good as ever. But if you are using it to be aggressive, we want to reward you for that. And the 120% scaling didn't quite feel rewarding enough.
Wow.
Physical power scaling, in case anyone
yes.
Usually we do write that. Minor.
All right, next up on the list, we've got Artio, Energy Surge / Maul Prey. We're going to be increasing the Druid damage on the ability.
Yeah, they did a remodel on Ares. Yeah, Mr. Navy. He looks sick now, doesn't he, dude?
Heavy charged. We're going to be
he looks awesome.
The slow duration on Heavy Charge.
So, we've seen Artio make a few appearances in the Pro League and some specialist players. We have a few pros that really favor her, but I wouldn't really say she's been meta for quite a while. Not seeing very high pick rate across the player base or high performance at all.
Oh, don't buff Artio.
Just a few things across her kit. We felt like specifically that heal was relatively difficult to pull off. So since it's such a conditional heal, like you have to hit an enemy with a close range attack and allies have to be near you, making just that a little bit more forgiving and just a little bit increase to her base damage and slow control, which nice well-rounded buff to hopefully make sure that Artio can compete with the current scope of Guardians that she's fighting against.
All right, next up we've got Baba Yaga. We're going to be increasing the damage on Baba's Brew and then increasing the shield health that she gets from Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, Baba Yaga is a really interesting character. I think people are really starting to realize that she can do quite a lot, especially when you get her to late game and you can really get all her damage out. But she does struggle uniquely in the early game, as well as in both surviving ganks, as well as actually
welcome back, Nate.
To like lane control and wave clear and boxing. And that was because Baba's Brood did really low base damage. We were worried about double stacking, but how it's actually played out and people utilize her kit, that double stacking is something that should be rewarding, but can be more rewarding than it currently is. So we're increasing the base damage there while letting it scale to a very similar amount, as well as Home Sweet Home is getting a more rounded buff to her base rank 5 ultimate shield, meaning that players who choose to dive her early on are going to see a little bit more difficulty in actually killing her, but keeping it about the same for her late game, which she should be putting herself at risk and using the shield really just to get her damage out versus being able to immune all incoming damage.
I don't play her
We'll be
enough
keeping a close eye on
to.
it too because she's close.
For sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Bakasura making a change to Eat Minion, increasing the scaling on the self-heal, and then also increasing the protections gained.
Dang.
Bakasura is a very interesting god to balance every time we visit him, because there's always a group of people that think this god is completely useless, and there's a large group of people that think this is one of the best gods in the game. And we're trying to find out where in that middle ground he actually lives. So he can be really strong and really aggressive, but one of the key things to playing Baka really well is using this Eat Minion and using it in combat in a way to actually use that protection buff or to heal himself up at a really critical moment. That's what separates the good Bakasuras from like the Pon level Bakasura players. So we wanted to make sure that they are properly rewarded for the, there's a lot of special cases. You have to be fighting near a wave or a jungle camp, or you have to be able to use, which he can swallow back his regurgitate minions, which is a little known feature we added a couple months ago that people tend to forget about. He can hit those too. But we want to make sure that feels impactful, and we wanted to buff him this update because we felt like the community has been leaning more towards that side, but we didn't want to buff his outright aggression because he's already pretty insane at that, and so we found that this was a really interesting way to go about it. And I think
interesting.
Going to be good for him without pushing him over the
Interesting.
For sure. All right.
I don't know how to feel about that yet.
Samdi. We're going to be increasing the damage on Vivid Gaze, and
why?
We're going to be increasing the scaling.
No.
Baron is an interesting character. Some people feel him as like a mid laner, but not quite there, or a support, not quite there.
Wait.
Him being more successful.
No. Baron already did damage. Baron already did.
Increased damage on
No.
Gaze is going to help him wave clear.
No.
And the increased scaling on Wrap It Up is going to help with his overall combo.
No.
Actually killing targets late game as he builds more and more magical power.
What? Oh my gosh, bro. Baron already did good damage.
Going to be seeing a change to Tremors, and Tremors will now deal an initial tick of damage whenever he starts casting the ability.
Oh no.
Yeah, this one was mostly a visual one.
Well, not just visual, but tactile, right? Feel.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of. Like, it's strange for all these effects and like the circle starts showing up whenever, but you don't actually take a hit really until what feels like the second animation, right? So this ability is just going to feel a lot more
Baron
responsive.
does need a buff?
It is technically, dealing one additional tick in the same amount of time it did before.
All right,
so
Mr. Navy.
+1 ticks. However often this ability has whatever duration you want it to have, which is a very unique aspect in Smite. But no matter what, you're getting one additional tick, so it's going to be better, especially in those short-term channels. And I think we can all agree that we haven't seen probably that much Kabrakan lately, so we were happy to buff him and make this ability feel a lot better.
All right, we've got another Guardian up next. We've got Cerberus, Paralyzing Spit and Soul Expulsion. We are decreasing the cooldown on both these abilities by 2 seconds.
Ooh.
Yeah, this one, Cerberus is a Guardian that I think some people feel is pretty strong, but not quite there. We don't see him too much at a very high-end level. His overall stats are a little bit
that's a good buff.
General perception
because those cooldowns are
so I just
insane.
want to help him out, make sure that he's able to do his things often enough to feel impactful.
Those cooldowns are
Paralyzing Spit and
ridiculous.
Soul Expulsion had very long cooldowns. These are just being decreased to be more reliable tools that you have access to more often.
I think that's good. Those are good buffs for him for sure.
All right.
16
Chiron
seconds is a
up next.
long time,
Training
man.
Exercise is going to be seeing an increase in damage, and then
No!
the scaling of Masterful Shot.
No.
Not super meta for a while.
That does not need a buff.
When he first launched, when that was about the only time he was considered super strong.
No.
He's almost more of an ability hunter. I think most people would consider him more of an ability hunter. So here you see.
That already did
big
good
improvements to his
damage.
base damage and scaling damage of his abilities. This should really help him compete in lane with other hunters. I personally think Chiron's going to be really strong going into this, but we made a lot of changes to hunters. We have a few other hunters that are getting even spicier changes that we're about to talk about.
I know, dude.
Really
that already did good
where
damage.
this ends up in the next patch, but I think Chiron is going to be a really good option that will probably still get overlooked. So if you're looking for a new hunter and you're not quite sure who to try, give Chiron a try. He's a really good feeling god to play, have really good long range ability, can sustain to clean up kills and stuff like that. Really cool playstyle for a hunter if you're looking for something different.
Bro.
All right, Next up, we've got
Yeah, he's
Cthulhu
about to slap.
making a change on his ultimate ability, Descendant of Madness. He is no longer going to be able to use relics while in the ultimate form.
Yep, so we talked about Cthulhu and bonus balance, but this is a change that we needed to actually have a kind of full patch for.
Wait, he could use relics while he was in his ult? I didn't know that.
But the amount of relics
That's
also
dumb.
Creates some visual clarity issues. Some were hidden by effects, as well as it was
Wait,
a very strong thing in general.
Cthulhu could use his relics while in his ultimate?
More fair in that way.
That's stupid.
All right.
I'm glad they took care of that. I didn't know that.
Let's talk about Cupid making a change to Heart Bomb. Minions will now take 50% additional damage from the explosion and the initial hit of Heart Bomb.
Wait, what?
I mean, I could get really specific about the balance history of Cupid and why this works, but really, I think we all know this is what Cupid needs, right? This is what the god currently suffers at. He's got good team fight control. He's got good utility. We've given him better attack speed. He's got that stim just.
Ooh, Cupid buff. Let's go, baby.
Up of his dash. So he's just gotten some good stuff.
I've just been listening mainly, and it goes from yes, let's go, baby, to no, why, please, no.
In the past with him, where we buff his kit in all different types of.
Low key, this is a good buff for Cupid, though.
Make him just too good at team fighting. So now hoping we can make him good in lane without breaking his team fighting. That's really what we hope to do here.
Yeah, that's a good buff for Cupid.
I think another really important thing to note is
that's a good buff.
Like Cupid, really skillful players can utilize this bonus damage to like snipe minions that are lower health and actually get the AoE explosion for the stun.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of also skill testing in the lane that you get with
yeah,
this.
This is a good buff. This is a good buff for Cupid.
So you get to look for
especially for lane. This is a good buff.
Yeah,
that's a good buff. Sure. I approve.
All right, we've got another hunter change up next. Medusa.
Ooh.
Viper Shot is now going to have 4 charges at all ranks.
Ooh.
We're increasing the scaling on the ability.
Ooh.
Acid Spray is going to be seeing an increase in scaling and range.
Ooh.
And then Lacerate, we're increasing the root duration.
Ooh, Medusa, baby, let's go.
Medusa is one of those characters I think had like a very strong launch, and then we nerfed, and then we never really see play much more after that. But people have that kind of memory of Medusa. But we feel pretty safe with these buffs.
Okay.
She's been underwhelming and hasn't really seen much play. This focuses on Viper.
Ooh, that root duration though. Oh.
Acid Spray being a bit more reliable as well as a bit more damage. And it's important to note that the range on Acid Spray is the projectile, not the cone. So the cone isn't bigger. The actual like your ability to fire and hit a minion, that part is a bit longer. You have more wiggle room there. And then finally, Lacerate, locking down a target more. If you're going to use it aggressively to lock down a target as a hunter, be a bit more rewarded for it.
I'm really excited for the Medusa meta that we're about to see. This god has not really felt the power that I feel like she deserves.
Hey, I'm about this Medusa buff, chat.
Scared people into over nerfing her.
I'm about this.
All right, let's talk about Mulan. Grapple, we're going to be increasing the training speed for this ability and also increasing the protections that you get. And then Divine Mastery, we're increasing the arrow damage scaling from 50% to 60%.
This is some quality of life buffs from Mulan. Grapple tends to be a little harder to stack because you're not necessarily just spamming it on anybody. You're saving it for a specific escape or an interrupt or an engage. So we want that to be reflected in its training speed.
I agree.
As well as the payoff. So we want that just to feel a little better so you're going to get more protections. And then her ultimate is still a very common discussion point whenever we bring up Mulan balance feedback. A lot of people still feel like the ultimate is maybe a little bit too much time for what it does. Locks Mulan down a little bit. So we're just increasing that scaling damage on the third shot even more to make sure that it really has an impact. You know, getting that good team fight Mulan ultimate can be really devastating to a whole team fight, but it also puts Mulan in a lot of danger. So we want to make sure that the risk reward feels balanced.
Okay, I respect it. I respect it.
Let's move right along and let's talk about a Neath buff. As I hear
Wait, yo, Neath does not need a buff.
Backflip, we're going to be
Neath does not need a buff.
Travel time for the ability are going to be sped up. Broken Weave, all enemies are now going to be able to see the Neath base Broken Weave, even if she has a skin equipped. And then the big one here, Unravel. We're going to be decreasing the attack speed debuff. This ability is now going to steal attack speed from enemies and buff Neath the same amount.
What?
Yeah, so lots of things here. The two really big ones are Unravel becoming a more stim-like cooldown, where you're actually stealing attack speed from your opponents. So late game, Neath gets a bit more ability to actually like fight more directly and use that ability and be rewarded for it as a DPS increase. And the other big one is Backflip being sped up.
Neath does not, bro. Shiori
and we have a lot of
Smack Neith smacks.
Decreased timing.
People low key sleep on Neith.
Like it was long,
but if you've ever lain against a Neith,
it made one part
dude,
that
she
felt
will
like she
body
should
you
do
early.
a fire kit with the backflip into a spear arrow combo, basically impossible to pull off. And so we've increased it to allow those things to be a bit more fluid while making sure that there's still clearly counterplay options when fighting Neith. You can still follow up things. It just feels better now.
These are big changes.
Right.
Big changes.
Yeah,
for sure. Nemesis is up next. Slice and Dice going to be seeing an increase in damage.
Yeah, this is following along with what we've been doing with Nemesis. We have
Nemesis.
She needs buffs. She's been buffed. I think this is the third time like in a row right now. We want to continue to take it slow and steady with her. When Nemesis has been overbuffed in the past, and it's not a good meta for us to be in. We're still going to avoid buffing our ultimate, that unmissable type ultimate. So Slice and Dice, bonus damage, increased damage across the board, across all ranks. Just going to help her jungle clear, going to help her poke, and should be noted that even though these numbers are look 10 per rank, that's double when you hit the sweet spot, right? So pretty big buff to Nemesis.
Okay.
Hopefully should let her compete with all the other junglers.
Nemesis needed a buff.
If this doesn't quite move her forward like the last few changes, then maybe we'll look and just keep the streak alive. We're gonna get there though. We're gonna get her feeling good without pushing her too far.
Yep.
Nemesis needed a buff.
Overrun up next.
For sure.
Overflowing Divinity is going to be seeing an increase in damage and also an increase in the damage decrease per shot fired. I know that's a little bit confusing. I'll let Pon explain a little bit more.
TLDR, Overflowing Divinity is going to be a bit more of a powerful tool when using against gods that are trying to juke it. The initial hits are going to be more damaging, but we're keeping the amount that it falls off, and as well as the amount of damage it does on like objectives. We're keeping that in check to make sure that he doesn't get too much damage there on still targets. So just making it a more reliable cooldown to use against moving targets.
Okay.
All right, next up on the list, Set going to be seeing a little bit of a shift here, increasing the duration of Relentless. Skewer is going to be seeing an increase in damage and scaling.
What?
Spawn of Set is now going to deal 60 to 80% of Skewer's damage.
Pon, why don't you take this?
Wait,
Yeah,
Set does
Set,
not need to do more damage.
Lots of really high skill testing things. Managing those clones is very difficult. But one thing that was interesting was ranking Skewer. Not only ranked your Skewer damage, but also ranked your clones. And so because you could just max those together, his early game burst was so insane if you gave Skewer any power that he would just one-shot people in lane very quickly. And so we had to tone his damage back. Here we're making it a more powerful tool in its own right and moving some of the damage scaling component onto actually ranking Spawn of Set. So if you want the full damage, you have to invest points there. But Skewer as a baseline ability that you can use at all times is going to be stronger. It'll help increase his clear speed. And also that extra second of Relentless means that when you're walking from your Heartbeat camp to your blue camp, it's not going to just fall off as you try and get that last little bit of hit. You'll be able to maintain that attack speed buff as you go from camp to camp more easily. And if you have gaps in your team fight, you can also keep it alive.
I don't know about that one.
All right,
I don't know about that one, Chad.
Undefeated Body, we're increasing the percent of HP where the passive triggers and also increasing the duration of the self buff. And then 72 transformations, we are increasing the duration of the Tiger Stun.
Oh,
so we've seen a few little glimpses of Sun Wukong meta. We're almost there. We're doing a few more small buffs to get him to a good feeling spot. Hopefully he'll be able to compete with the other solo laners in this new solo meta with the changed items. Undefeated Body, a lot of quality of life there. The passive, maybe you don't really feel like you're getting much out of it a lot of the time. So making it a little bit easier to trigger and making it last a little longer.
So
the real buff here is 72 transformations. A lot of times people would be pretty torn between which ability to rank next between Master's Will and 72 transformations. And now with this Tiger Stun buff, we're making it pretty clear that you can go ahead and rank your Master's Will and keep this 1 point wonder with the full stun duration. Should make Sun Wukong a pretty intimidating foe.
Yep.
All right,
okay.
We're nearing the end.
I'm good with that.
We got just a couple more left. Sylvanas, Wisps is going to be seeing increase in damage, and then Wrath of Terra is also seeing a damage increase.
Sylvanas is really interesting because he does bring a lot of control, utility, and being able to blink ult to engage, pulling someone out of position, rooting someone, and decreasing their protections are all very powerful tools. But he still struggled, and we feel like that's because he just doesn't bring enough in addition to those things. We could increase his utility, but we feel like that's going to push him in a situation that might feel too frustrating. So amping up his damage some, making him a little bit more threatening. Obviously, he's still not going to be able to like 100-0 you with these changes, but just making him more threatening in general, especially that early Wisp change, is going to help team fight dynamics in like the dual lane pretty effectively.
Yeah, Sylvanas buff, yeah.
Thoth and Hieroglyphic Assault going to be seeing a little bit of a shift here, increasing the scaling on the ability, but we added some damage fall off for targets hit past 55 units of range.
Pompon, I believe you did a little bit more work on this one than me as well. Could you mind taking this one? I'll save the last one. Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, so we increased the scaling, and we also made the bonus subsequent damage. So when you hit gods repeatedly, they take more damage from the ability. That now also applies to minions. And so the goal with that is to make sure that when he's fighting for lane clear pressure, and when he's fighting gods that are more directly on top of him, he's just going to be stronger. But his artillery mage, which creates a very difficult balancing point problem where he has to be really weak to justify that level of strength. We're toning that back, so it's still a unique strength that he brings. He can do very, very long range poke, but it's not as devastating once you get a lot of power. So taking his early game up some, taking his late game down some, still focusing on his strengths, but making them more manageable.
Okay, so this says damage increase will affect all enemies, not just gods, which is contains, but Pawn wants to draw special attention to. This means he will deal more damage to minions than he used to do. Correct. So, and although you mentioned this kind of late game, early game, this also shifts him a little bit more to make him better lane clear, but without just increasing his overall damage output to an overall team fight. It's kind of like what we did with Cupid.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because this lane clear was kind of doo-doo.
All right, last up for God Balance, Ymir is here.
Oh, Ymir.
By increasing the duration and also increasing the damage reduction.
So we buffed Ymir. We gave him that quality of life walled feature that people have been wanting for so long, but that didn't really do much to him. Like, we know that's a good feeling ability, and there's a lot of theoretical bonus damage, or not bonus damage, but just a better gameplay there. You can make plays, but it didn't really affect him too much. So we were looking at Guardians that were just still underperforming statistically. Ymir was surprisingly low towards the bottom, and looked to just buff his passive. This is a pretty strong buff. You know, I'm a little scared about those extra swings, basic attacks that Ymir is going to get in on that increased frostbite duration. That's a little scary. And then also we're just increasing the defensive element here because Ymir already has quite a lot of aggression. We wanted to make sure we added something to this balance change to help him play more like a traditional Guardian and still excel in that role. So now he's going to reduce the damage output. That's a 5% increase there, which is that's a pretty significant amount when we're talking about true damage reduction out of other gods. So the final buff of the mid-season patch is Ymir, and you know I couldn't go to a more fitting god, and we got it all done in under 2 hours. But yeah, I know I'm tired already.
Yeah, I know for sure.
We still have lots of cool stuff to talk about.
Balance. Lots of cool stuff to talk about. We'll get to Avatar in just a second, but we also want to highlight just a few more skins coming out in the mid-season
more skins.
We've
Here we go.
Got the start of a new event called the New Moon event. Take that as you guys will, with some awesome skins. And the first one is going to be Tornado Tech Kukulkan. And this one is really awesome. I love all the tech skins.
They're doing it now, Navy.
Card art is awesome.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. This one, we've kind of had this like mecha Kukulkan idea rolling around in our minds for a long time. Just
there we go. I love the wings. Just seeing the separation and all the elements.
And I'm happy to see as we take our mechs, we continue to try these on gods with completely different body types. You know,
I want more Afro skins.
Mechs that we maybe overdone.
That doesn't look too bad.
Years, but this one feels really different than all the rest.
For sure.
You know, maybe if you missed out on that Tier 5 Kukulkan last year, this will be your new main here.
This one's looking super sick. We've got another skin in the New Moon event that drops on July 14th. And this one is Pinata Party Kumbhakarna. And of course, we got a shout out.
Throw it in the trash.
For this amazing
concept.
My
gosh.
Yo, what is this, dude? What in the world?
I swear, Kumbhakarna has some of the best skins.
Yo, look at the kids' faces. They're like, what the world, dude? Look at her face.
That's so funny.
Look.
It's awesome.
Oh my goodness, just look at the textures.
What is this, dude?
All the paper.
What is this skin, dude?
Yeah, one of his death animation has like candy flying everywhere.
Oh, it has to.
Ooh,
that's awesome.
I don't know. I love the detail on that, on those pieces of paper around him. That's a really amazing job by the art team.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of a really amazing job by the art team, we've got another skin coming in the viewer store. It's going to be
Kumba
Bass Demon Raijin, and he is joining the rest of the EDM crew to play some tunes on the battleground. I
Ooh.
heard from the animation team he's got a special VXG where he jams out.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So this is really exciting because Raijin hasn't had a skin in a while. This is also exciting because this is going to be in the viewer store.
Yo, let's go.
So really excited about both those things, and this is just a cool looking skin across the board.
Yo, that's a sick skin.
We
The
needed a
style
drummer.
is awesome. There we go.
We needed a drummer. We needed in the EDM crew. We needed the beats, right?
Yo, that's awesome.
For sure. All right, and then the last skin that we were going to touch on before we move on to Avatar is Twisted Joke Izanami. This one's going to be available on the Twisted Joke chest, July 14th. And
Yo,
I don't know
let's
whose
go.
Twisted Joke it was to put the skin in game. But
Yo, the skin's sick.
It is
The
creepy.
The creepy clown.
Yo, the
for a
skin is
has been
sick.
going on forever, and I've been mostly opposed to it, but we got this skin pitch within the dev team, and it
Yo!
does fit the goddess really well. And we found
Dude.
a way to do it to make it cool, and get the colors and the outfit right. It was not an easy skin to
Yo.
design, but I'm really happy with how it turned out, and she looks great.
yeah, this is absolutely amazing. Well, that wraps it
Yo,
up for some of the other
that
skins
skin
that
is
are coming in
actually fire.
Mid-season update, but we know why you're all here. We've got the Avatar Battle Pass coming out in the next update.
That
and we
skin
absolutely
is
can't wait
actually
to get into
fire.
more detail with it. If you guys missed the announcement earlier this week, here's a trailer for you guys.
Oh, here comes the new battle pass, chat. Let's go.
This world is in trouble.
We can't let this happen. They need our help.
Dude, those skins are so sick. Those skins are so sick, dude. Holy.
That's right, Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra coming to Smite in the next update. We're gonna get right into it. I've got AJ still with me, but I've got Bananimation from the animation team here to break it all down. Bananimation, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. How are you guys?
This is super
Good?
awesome. Doing amazing now that we get to talk about Avatar. It's so
Tired
good.
out of all that balance, but very excited
Oh my gosh,
to
there's
show
so much.
the amazing work that Bananimation and our art team has done on these skins. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that these skins have some of the most production value. I'm talking the amount of time and effort our team massively put into all three of these characters, and it really shows.
Yeah, for sure. I was talking to some community members on Reddit, and like a lot of the work is like close to, if not above, what we do for tier 5 skins. Just so much love and attention went into these characters. And before we break it all down, all these skins are going to be available in the Avatar Battle Pass. There's going to be a main track and a prestige track. The Avatar State skins and the Blue Spirit skins are going to be on the prestige track. But if you guys unlock the premium track, which is going to be 750 gems, you'll be able to start unlocking
there it
all
is,
of these
chat.
Avatar skins.
Knew it.
Plus a boatload of other Avatar themed
I
cosmetics
knew
that
it.
the team put in
I knew
a
this-
ton of work into.
I knew this battle
Let's
pass
go
was
ahead
going to
and
be
get
more
started
expensive.
Looking at some of these skins, and we're going to start with
I
Zuko
knew it.
Susanoo.
I knew it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Very
All the card art is
So
so
just
good.
just so you guys know,
So, Anna,
typically
I know you
Smite's
took
battle
part on
passes are
Zuko,
600
so
gems.
What was it
This
like
one's gonna be
working on the
750.
collaboration and bringing Zuko to life in game?
Oh my gosh. So I am a huge Avatar fan. This is really a dream come true for me. I've been like a fan since it came out. I've watched it like 9 times, so it's crazy. It was just nuts. So I was animation point on Zuko. The team did a really great job adapting Susanoo's animations to fit. And I don't even know. I don't have words.
Yeah.
So good.
Exactly.
And yep, there we go. We've got Pawn,
Yo.
our loyal driver in game, And Anna, I'll let you take it away as we go through the abilities. Just kind of talk about some of the animation work that you guys.
Yeah,
put
it
into this
was
game.
Damo. That's the one I was gonna point that one out. Yeah, that one was.
Susano originally
That
just
one
had
was too.
sword, so something that we wanted to do was incorporate 2 swords for Zuko, since he does use the dual swords. So I actually went in and updated an animation by our friend Jim, who's now on Paladins, and added that second sword and the slash for the in-hands. And it's very, very quick, but I believe it's also in his wand. He also has it in a bunch of emotes as well. But Austin killed it with the effects for this. It's so cool, especially that
Yo,
ult.
these
Which
effects
I'm
are
excited for that one too,
insane.
since we updated the animation there.
There we go, and that fire looks so cool.
Dude.
Yeah.
Holy dude.
Every time I
Oh
see it, I
my
get so
goodness.
excited.
This is awesome. And I'm just waiting for Pond to fire this ultimate ability. There we go.
Oh, it's so sick, dude.
So that we tried.
I hate
especially
Smite
on the
by
animation team,
on Navy.
I think across the Avatar team in general, we tried to.
Yo, this
as much
skin's
reference as we
sick,
could from
dude.
the actual show. So this was the ult is an animation that Zuko does when he fights Azula at the very end, and it was so cool to like frame by frame that animation. I had so much fun.
Smite be taking my money.
How much research
True.
the art team did. They, you know, a lot of people on the team were already big fans of the show, but many others who were just learning about it got really well familiarized with the show. Oh, this special emote.
Yes. So Victoria, our animator, did this one. This is his.
Yo, dude, that's sick.
It's 8 directional, so you can just fly around with your fire daggers. Super cool. That one was harder to think of what to do for Zuko since he doesn't do that in the show. But we figured, he eventually goes on to be such an experienced firebender. He more than likely learns how to do something like this. It was that was really fun to play with.
Yeah, and I know all the emotes are new. Apparently all the victory and defeat screens are new for all of these skins. All of them have VXGs, and I believe all of them have specific death animations as well. Tons of work went into it. I do want to preface before we head into the voice pack lines that just tons of work that goes into these crossovers, especially for one that's of this magnitude, and tons of different difficulties that we went into working with Nickelodeon here. We weren't able to work with the original voice actors for Zuko and Aang. We were able to work with the original voice actor for Korra. But Nickelodeon was with us every step of the way. They helped us cast actors. They were there directing. So it was really awesome to have great partners in them in order to get these skins finished up and out to you guys.
That's awesome.
I challenge you to an Agni Kai. Firebending in and of itself is not something to fear, but if you don't respect it, it'll chew you up and spit you out like an angry Komodo rhino.
Cool. So that wraps it up for Zuko Susano. And is there anything else that you wanted to show off? Because I know you put in a ton of work and you took point on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited for everybody to get in there and do his emotes. His recall that Louis did is amazing. The taunt emote. That
Nickelodeon making moves for sure.
So definitely just.
Nobody wanted Zuko.
Like AJ said, we put a lot of research into the.
Yo, there is Appa. Appa is a ward.
Things that we picked for the little.
There's an Appa ward.
As well.
Like he's just like
so definitely
floating, and he's a ward,
Claps,
dude.
Waves are all
It's awesome.
New, right?
Yep, all of it is new for him. Yeah.
We honestly, these are so beyond tier 4, and they weren't even really quite what we'd call a tier 5. We just started calling them god.
Zuko be looking
studios.
good though.
These are essentially brand new characters that happen to have the abilities of gods in Smite. Like they're some of the crazy.
Hashtag justice for Katara.
Look so cool. I can't wait to show off the next ones.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Korra Scotty, and I am super excited for this. I'm a big Korra fan. Oh, we've got Naga by your side as well. Got the card art. Naga, the trusty polar bear dog. This is super awesome.
I love how our artists were able to adapt to the show's style, and so these 2D illustrations, they're card arts. These are brand new illustrations by Hi-Res Studios, and these models, our team worked to reference them and making sure they look like the show, and they look straight out of the show. It's amazing.
Yeah, Casey did an amazing job on the characters in the card art, and then Anna, one of our other artists, did an amazing job. Both of them as a team. She did the backgrounds, and there's just so much detail, and it really does feel like they're from the show, which is really cool.
It's already a good joke in the Smite community that Calder almost feels like a god of his own, but when you see this Naga Calder coming at you,
Holy dude,
agree.
He's huge.
Anna kind of talk about what
He's
went into
huge.
making sure Naga was able to fit onto this rig, but he's much bigger than Calder.
Wait.
Yeah,
She
oh my
doesn't
gosh.
have
So,
her spear.
Allie was our point on animation for
What?
Korra and Naga, and she did such an amazing job. So much went into, especially like the proportions for Naga. If you can see her legs, her front legs are so much bigger because she's a polar bear dog. She's not just a dog. So you kind
What?
of go through and adjust all of her different animations to make sure that they fit the original Calder animations, as well as she does have some new animations
Huh.
too, which is really fun and exciting. For Korra herself, we actually
What the heck?
worked a lot with this water rig that you can see she throws for her in hands, and it kind of, when she's running around, it appears in her idol, and when she jumps up and down. That was a really, really hard technical challenge for our team. It was a rig in itself, which we had to do a lot of back and forth with our rigging department. Shout outs to Lindsay.
Yo, what's up, David? Oh, early stream? We're just watching the Patch
it's
Notes
just,
show.
like, so much,
And then I'll
it's such a
stream
silly
later
thing
tonight
with
at the
a little
normal time.
water rig, but so much hard work went into making it look cool, and I love how Brock.
Yo, that ult is kind of sick.
Rather than
That ult's
Scotty
pretty
throwing
sick.
her spear like she does, Korra water bends that that water, which is so cool.
And it's important to note that Korra is an avatar, so Zuko's moves were all fire themed, but specifically for the Korra skin, we specifically wanted to highlight bending of multiple elements throughout her kit. So you see her one projectile is a fire projectile, her basics and her two are water, her basics and her three, I'm sorry, are water. It's a water pool, and her ultimate is a air swirling rocks tornado. So you got all four elements in the Korra kit.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, for sure. I have a special request for Pawn after he does the VXG. I'd like to see the death animation for this skin because I heard about it. And
Yo, that's a sweet VXG.
Yeah, so that was Korra's. Oh no, there she goes.
Oh,
so
shout outs to
so
Zahir.
Yeah, I know. So again, we tried to take references as much as we can from the show, and not only are we huge Avatar: Last Airbender fans.
I'm
we're
excited for it. I
Korra
watch
fans, too.
Avatar before. Can't wait for you to do
I
a giveaway
love
on
Korra
it.
so much. Allie, again, she was point on Korra. She has so much passion and love for this show, and we actually found that specific part from the show is a little bit darker. If you guys know, Zahir is an airbender that gets really strong, and he actually causes Korra to have this kind of mental bending crisis. So her death animation represents that. It's a reference.
I've seen a little bit of Avatar. I haven't seen a whole lot, but I've definitely seen a little bit.
The show is got some very emotional themes to it. I remember watching that. It's scary,
Yeah, definitely. It's funny too because when we were working on Korra, especially, a lot of folks were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so dark." And we're like,
yeah, right.
I mean, it's Korra. Korra's a little bit different than
than the first show. Yeah.
All right, and as Pawn is jumping around showing off that Team Avatar jump stamp, let's take a couple of listens to the voice pack here.
My mission will always be to use Rava's light spirit to guide the world toward peace and balance.
Okay.
Unless you want to be Naga's afternoon snack, you better back off.
Ooh, sassy. Sassy.
That is Korra Scotty for you guys. Again, I'm super excited for this one, but we've got one more. The main attraction, as I would like to say, my favorite. I'm a Merlin main, and now we've got Merlin coming to the battleground. And as we show the card art and the turnaround, and I'll kind of let you talk about what went into Aang, because apparently we started from scratch pretty much for this new skin.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I still can't get over that Janet Varney's in her game, so I'm just like,
yeah.
But yeah, so much went into Aang.
I'm so stoked that Aang is Merlin, dude, because I love playing Merlin.
Scotty, while also making sure it fit that they're characters from the show. But Aang, since he's such a different size than Merlin. We had to completely build him from the scratch up. He is definitely like we were like AJ said, we were referring to him pretty much as God tier. All of his animations are new, and shout outs to Brock, who was animation point on Aang. He did such an amazing job, and definitely the passion from the entire team across the board.
Yo, low key, this will be probably the most bot battle pass in Smite. What do you guys think? What do you think, chat? This will be the most bot battle pass in Smite. 100%.
Had so much fun doing it.
Smite's about to make so much bank off of this battle pass.
This turnaround animation here. Yeah, this is actually by our animator Victoria. She's using that water rig I talked about. This is kind of one of the first water bending moves that Katara teaches Aang. She kind of took reference from that to put it in there.
This is so good. I cannot wait to see it in game.
Yes.
And all of these characters just have so much depth.
Wish you got the Ruby Battle Pass.
Absolutely everything. When you start playing them for real, you'll get to feel it.
Oh, look at this,
yeah,
dude!
For sure.
Oh, this is sick.
Shoot some more basics, please.
House of Amana not Aang.
Oh. That is one of my favorite things about Aang. I believe it was Sean, and I'm sorry if I got that mixed up on our animation team that did those. But they're honestly one of my favorite basic attack sets in our game. They just feel really fluid and they're fun to fire off. I don't know, I just really like those.
And so, Aang fit Merlin well in our mind. We really tried to focus on each of these characters when making our decisions.
Dude, Katara is the most popular female girl in the show and second most popular after Aang, and they still didn't include her.
Avatar, Aang has mastery over multiple elements. So does Merlin. So here you'll see his arcane stance with the swirling ability, and the pull has been pivoted to air. The fire is fire, and ice is water. And Earth is reflected in his passive stim, which can buff his own basic attacks. You see all four elements here, and you see that iconic pose on the stance change. That is such an amazing effect.
Dude, I'm definitely Merlin main. You guys know that. I got a diamond Merlin. I gotta have a diamond Merlin, dude.
And then,
I love Merlin.
Pon was kind of showing it off earlier, but on the fire stance 2, we actually completely changed the models for the dragons.
Yeah,
right
so...
there to. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, AJ. That's fine.
Oh
you know better
yeah.
about the show than I do in animation, but they are referencing the legendary fire-bending dragons. Essentially, in the Avatar universe, there is a creature that essentially bestowed each bending element to humans, and these are the referencing the fire dragons that helped establish all fire bending.
I wish we had Earth from him. It's in his auto attacks, David. Watch his auto attacks, and you can see rocks. You can see like rocks in his auto attacks.
Yeah. Sorry, I just want to say, like, John went above and beyond on those dragons. Like, that was something that kind of came in the last minute. And he was like, yeah, I can do it. And they look so cool.
Love this
the
VXG.
Iconic air scooters, the VXG. Yeah. It's so good.
Yo, it's so sick, dude.
Pon, can you hit us with the recall whenever you get a second?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude. Holy bro.
Oh, it's perfect. And one more special request, the clap emote. I know Anna put in a lot of
We should have looked at the waves and claps and stuff for all of these ones.
Oh no, he doesn't have
Oh
it.
no.
No, how do you not have the clap emote?
You can't all emotes it? You can cheat that now. Does it work on them? Oh well.
Well,
okay.
That'll just be a fun surprise for you.
Yeah. But yeah, as you guys can see, a ton of work went into all the abilities, all the animations, like we said earlier. All the emotes are done. New victory, defeat screens. Team put in so much work, and we're so excited to have this.
Oh, that's his jump, dude. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, let's go ahead and take a listen to the Aang Merlin voice pack.
Have you ever rode on the hopping llamas? Or surfed on a giant koi fish? What about the hog monkeys? Man, what do you do for fun around here? If you want to be a bender, you have to let go of fear.
Yo.
That is the voice pack for Aang Merlin.
That's
and before
sick.
we head on to talk about the prestige track, we do want to show off just a couple of the other cosmetics that you'll get as a part of the battle pass. Looks like Pon has already got some wards equipped and a global emote and stuff. Of course, we had to include your boy Appa into the game, so there'll be a ward skin for Appa and Naga, I believe, as well as a ton of other jump stamps and global emotes.
There it is.
He is there.
Look at the award, dude. That's sick.
Spinning around, having a good time.
And then we've got
And I
the
think
Rava and Vatu death mark from Korra.
Yes, it's so cool.
Alright, and I think the only other thing we haven't seen is the global emotes.
My cabbages.
My cabbages. Shoutouts to the unlucky cabbage vendor. There's apparently going to be some additional audio. for that global
Imazuku?
emote.
Oh,
It's still
the
being worked
Susanoo
on in
one was
depth,
pretty
but
sick.
Tons of awesome content in this battle pass. Let's get right into the prestige track. So like I said earlier, the battle pass is going to have a premium track for 750 gems, and then once you complete the premium track, you unlock the prestige track for free. That way you can keep on grinding to unlock more rewards. And the first skin from the prestige track that we want to show off is Blue Spirit Susanoo.
And here you go, David. This is the prestige version of the
So again,
Zuku.
shout out to Casey and Anna for doing this card art. Oh, it's actually my computer background right now. It's so cool.
This is
everything
sick,
that went into
dude.
these is really fun.
There we go. And all the models for all these skins just look so clean. So that one's going to come your way as a part of the prestige track. And I know you were saying that this one almost didn't make the cut.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
guys
we
pushed for
actually,
it.
we initially weren't gonna do another skin for Zuko, and a bunch of us on the team were like, hang on, we need the Blue Spirit in there because it's really, really cool. And plus, I think the cool thing about him is that if you're not an Avatar fan, it's still a really cool skin. He's like a ninja with a cool mask on. But I think for those Avatar fans, like, sorry for the spoiler, but it is kind of a huge part of Zuko's character as well. And heck yeah, I'm so excited that we got him in the game.
For sure.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to the next skin in the prestige track. It's Avatar Korra, Scotty.
Okay.
And this is her when she
Ooh.
embraces Rava and is in
Yo.
her Avatar state.
Ooh.
Yes, this is my other wallpaper on my other monitor. I had to have two.
Holy, dude.
And just as a note here, so these prestige track skins are kind of like T2 versions of the
Dang.
base skins in the track. So no new additional effects or anything, but we've updated the models significantly.
Yeah, this one's sick.
Whereas, like, later in the show, look where she goes.
Look
to
at
the
that
crisis
Scotty
of
man
finding
get
her
wrecked.
here, and then
Yo,
after
that
her
one's
off,
sick.
Kind of finds herself again, and then just
That's
ends up becoming
dope.
this ultimate powerful avatar. So we really wanted to show that off in the game. Plus, like, Rava just looks really cool. So that on Korra is just bonus. I know it only happens like briefly in the show, but we went with it.
I love the attention to detail the team gave towards the show. These small moments, these big moments, they're all represented here. People, when we announced this, people were like, cabbages, we need the cabbages, like they thought we would never do it. Come on, we were way ahead of that. We had cabbages ready to go from day one. Come on.
Yes.
Gotta believe in
the
animation.
Well, the whole team. Yeah, the cabbage guy actually, one of the card arts that Casey pitched had the cabbages guy, and Aang was just like flying through and knocking the cabbage guy back.
All right, let's move on to the last skin in the prestige track, Avatar Aang Merlin, and this is Aang and his Avatar.
Let's
towards,
go.
The end of book 3,
Let's
where
go.
he has his iconic fight with the Fire Lord.
One of my favorite moments from any TV show or movie or game ever was this fight. Oh my gosh.
So
I just love how strong and powerful he looks. Oh, it's so good.
Definitely.
Here we go.
Here he is. So
And
a
as
cool
you can
thing about this skin. I'm sorry, Isaiah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Anna.
Oh, I was gonna mention that scar on his back, because that's, he gets hit with the lightning for the first time, and kind of like Korra, it knocks him out of commission. So John went in there, our modeler, and put that scar on his back, and also I don't know if you'll ever get to see it, but it is on his foot as well. We did pay close enough attention.
Yeah,
but
super
it's
awesome.
there.
All the attention to detail, that scar. When I first saw it, I was like, no, he's got the scar from his run-in with Azula. It's crazy.
Definitely.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah,
Holy.
So that wraps it up for our Avatar Battle Pass section. Tons and tons of work went into these skins. There's tons of awesome content. I want to pass it to Anna really quick because I know she has some people.
They added
that she
the
wants to
cabbage
shout out
guy
because this was
and a
tremendous
global
effort
emote
from multiple people on the team.
Yeah, so I kind of peppered in a few names here and there, but this was one of the first times we had the opportunity to kind of, we've been calling it a strike team, have a smaller team of people kind of stepping up and becoming creative leads on a project, myself included, which, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna faint. I just want to make sure those people get credit where credit is due. So shout out to our art director and concept artist, Mark Ross. Austin was a producer with the help of our producer, Ashley. He also did all of the effects for all the skins and some of like the cosmetics for the emotes and everything like that. Huge shout out to John for modeling. He, like I said before.
So Chad, which one's your favorite? What out of the three, like Aang,
I love seeing Naga,
Korra, and
so
Zuko?
Perfect, just like Naga. Pamela and Lindsay from our rigging team.
Nice change on the profile picture. Oh, thanks, David. You can thank Mr. Navy.
Back and forth with them a lot.
So give Mr. Navy some love. He hooked me up.
And then I was playing on Zuko. I'm not gonna shout myself out because they.
I hate this patch notes with all my soul.
DJ Jeff Chris from our tech art team helped to bring everything from everywhere and put it all together.
My favorite is the Cerberus buff.
And then Casey and Anna C did the card arts. Beautiful. Noah, Andrea, and Chad did the audio. Jen from she's our Smite marketing producer. She really had a huge hand in making sure that we could communicate.
Navy, you hate the patch notes, but you're still gonna play, baby. You're still gonna play.
Also, like sending the little things that we've done to them and hearing their response was really exciting. Brett in the Alacrity team, Anna, Renee, Thomas, and Kalani did the 2D intro and the cinematic, and that was like, is that from the show? Trevor, the VP of Business Development. We would not have had this project without Trevor, so huge shout out to him. Tina did the writing and the voice acting. And then AJ, thank you so much for being the game design consultant. We needed your help on some of those moments for sure. And then Ben, our Smite art director, he was there the whole step of the way, making sure things would fit in our game as well. And then just a special thank you to the support of the leads and the managers and just the entire Titan Forge team. Everybody really came together to make sure that these skins were something that we were all really proud of and really were something that would represent the show as much as we love the show. We want it to be super cool in our game. So yeah, definitely.
Titan looks like he's about to slap someone.
Special Avatar Superfan Council, which we created amongst the studio.
Yes.
Even for people outside the Smite team, we created a special, a smaller strike team of people who are really into Avatar fandom to be our go-to point on asking questions, on helping us decide which characters.
You talking about Isaiah, the guy on the left, Navy?
They were super helpful. Stephanie and Gabby from the video team.
The guy on the far left.
Thank you so much to them, and everyone else who just shared their voices and played the characters.
This dude right here.
And
this guy right here.
Through this process.
No, in the middle.
I went back and checked this because people were asking.
Oh, Ajax.
The first email I have in my work email about this project started in last November, beginning of it. I've been working on these characters for 8 months. That's longer than we work on most gods, and it was a huge effort from the whole team. And so I'm just really happy with how it's turned out. It's really
I think he's tired. I think he's ready for the patch note show to be over.
For sure. Shout outs to the entire team. Thank you so much to the community. Your excitement has been electric amongst the studio. We're excited that you're excited. Thanks so much for tuning in. That wraps it up for our update show. Thanks for hanging in there. I know it's been a long one, but we've still got tons of Smite content coming up for you next. We've got Smite the Casters up next. Not Smite the Devs, Smite the Casters. Be on the lookout for PTS info, and be sure to keep it locked here on twitch.tv/SmiteGame.
Chat.
We'll see you later.
Chat, we got a special guest. We got a special guest, chat. Special guest on the stream. You guys are lucky. Alright, I think that's the end of the patch note show, chat. End of the patch notes. But you guys get a special guest, chat. How about that? Chat. You guys get a special guest. You guys get a special guest, chat. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. What's going on? Huh? Hey. Chat, this is my youngest baby. Hey. He was born in January. His name is Aurelian Storm. And he's drooling. So, yeah. Alright, David. I'll see you later, man. He was born in January. No, I'm sorry. December 31st. My bad. I'm trolling. I'm trolling. December 31st. My bad. Those days blurred together. I'm sorry. So, anyways. This is him. This is him. Yeah. He's in. What you looking at? Are you looking at the lights? Huh? Are you looking at the lights? Let's pretend we didn't. Look. When I said January, I was thinking January 1st. But it wasn't January 1st. It was December 31st. Look, chat. Look. Okay. Look. Those days blended in so bad. Okay? Cut me some slack. I know. Yeah, my oldest son was born on January 1st. So. And then he was born on December 31st. So can you see how like it kind of like, I don't know, it blends in a little bit. Yeah. So, isn't he the most adorable thing in the world, chat? Yes. Isn't he the most handsome thing in the world? Yes, he is. Give him a kiss from me? Okay. Hey, Bubbles, want a kiss from Mr. Navy? Huh? Mwah. Yeah. Smoochies. Huh? There you go. He looks terrified? No, he's just like looking around. You want to grab the microphone? Huh? He's not terrified. He's a cutie. Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome when he's not screaming and yelling. Isn't that right, Bubba? Huh? Is that right? Yeah? Alright, chat. Yeah. Alright, the Patch Notes show is over. What you looking at? His facial expressions are amazing. He looked disgusted. Hey, are you gonna smile? Hey. Look at my chubby cheeks. Look at my chubby cheeks, chat. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Boop 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 boop. Burp. Oh. And burp. Oh. And burp. Alright, chat. That was the Patch Note show. Thanks for everybody for hanging out. I thought it would be cool to try to stream it and like all that. So thanks everybody for being here early or for watching a Patch Note show, maybe of a game you may not necessarily like. Thanks for all the support for this early stream and watching it and hanging out, chatting it up, chilling. I'm going to hop off, spend some time with this dude right here. You know what I'm saying? Boop, 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 boop. Eat some dinner, work out, all that good stuff. And then I'll be back. I'll be back at my normal time this evening, chat, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay? So, y'all got a special guest too? Anyways, I'm out of here, chat. Thank you all for being here. I love your faces. What are you looking at, Bubba? All right. And hey, you guys have a nice little afternoon, and I will catch you this evening. All right. Peace.